Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are premiering, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon, so a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to Cannabear, Fibre Oats, Bogey, Rob H, Ben White, Maximum Gravy, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Will Brax, Mel B Styles, Troy Shuker, Harry Blade, Mobile Mac 777, Neo the One, Lost Cat FE, Rob W, Open Minded, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Muted, Maria Neelands, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, The Real Gabster, Liam Nedrick Jr., Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic936, Life is Short, Texas Mike, and David Wayne Foster. Now, I will hand over to whoever is in G Plus and Discord so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Like they're trying to tell some flat earther that's asking a question about the sextant argument, and some baltard at the end of it says, all right, so you can't point it at the top of the hill and use it. I guess that makes the sextant useless. All
right, just somebody that doesn't understand how it works then, basically, is what you're saying. Hey, 10th.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm on the road heading back to Cali with a trailer. I couldn't get on the show all week, but I can a little bit today.
Okay, you can hardly tell.
But it's quiet. I'm on a good road.
Nah.
You like the straight answer back?
Right.
So did Adam and Sleeping Warrior do a present together as of yet?
No. I didn't know there was something on the cards either. There's just something on the cards.
Well, I sent them something because in my research I found something quite pertinent to our argument, and I said, look, I'm on the road next week, so why don't, and plus it was done in Adam's town. His town got mentioned, Nottingham, and I said it'd be perfect for you guys to do it. So we kind of went over it, and then I went on my trip, and I've been listening to the live show, but I haven't heard it yet.
Oh, okay. No, he hasn't as of yet, but maybe they will today.
Well, he said he had a busy week of work, Adam, and then he was going to record his section, and Tony was going to do the rest. But if they don't do it, I'll do it next week.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So what's been happening in the pre-shows?
What's with these sneak attack 8 o'clock starts?
No, it's just me getting ready early, that's all. If I'm ready early, if everything's set up super quick, which it happened to be today, well, I'll start.
I get annoyed. I've been up since 6 o'clock. I turned away for 2 seconds. I come back and you got the link. And I'm 2 minutes late.
Tardy Neil.
Hey, Tent, where you been?
I've been traveling. It's a bit hard to do it while you're pulling rigs and going through snow and rain and 1,000 miles of driving.
Well, I've been missing you.
I miss you guys. But the shows are good. I mean, the live show, they're just like falling apart.
Yeah, they're scrambling. It's insanity. I'm telling you, Nathan's right. The next stop is the nut house. They got nowhere to go. It's either they concede, they become flat earthers, and become their eyes are opened up to reality, or they just keep resisting, and then cuckoo.
Nurse Ratchet around the corner. Yeah, it's maybe they could hide behind other failed arguments before in a little bit of a way to speak of, kind of obfuscating certain parts of an argument. But when you got to deny a 90, you got to deny a right angle, you got to deny a triangle, you got to deny what horizontal is. The next stop is the nut house.
Well, yesterday in the chat, this guy comes on. I never seen him before. He said he has a sextant and he's been using it for years. And he asked me, "Have you used a sextant?" I was like, "No, I haven't, but I know what it does. I know what the purpose is. I've never shot a gun at somebody, but I know how it works." You know, what are you getting at here? You're using a sextant on a flat surface. You think you're using it on a sphere. The only reason it's working is because you're using it on a flat Earth.
Yeah, that first guy, when we first started this, there was a guy in chat. He was going berserk. Oh, I've been sailing and I've used a sextant and 10th is wrong and his citations are all wrong. And, all the, I haven't heard from him for a while because he got his little limelight, I guess, by just crying. And then when we kept producing all the citations that come from their books, he was made to look like a fool. And this guy will be the same.
That's what I was going to say. His 10th man citations from your books? How does that work out?
I love, I heard yesterday, I think, the dingleberry, or what was that thing you guys called the earth hanging below the plane now?
Dingleberry Earth.
Yeah, that's I started laughing.
Hemorrhoid. I like the hemorrhoid. Earth.
When I heard dingleberry, I started cracking up because, we've been saying they don't need that part under the tangential plane because they got to start with the flat Earth themselves, and they've got that part there for no reason. But when I heard dingleberry, I lost it. That was great. Whoever came up with that.
Yeah, I like how Brian came up with that they're throwing out their sphere once they keep saying tangential plane. They're agreeing with us. It's flat.
Yep. No, very good. Very good. Oh.
But there was one that was really telling when Nathan was going at it with Virus. When he came, what did he say? That he sees light bends. Virus said light bends, and Nathan's telling him, "What do you think you're looking at when you're looking through the sextant?"
I have no clue as to the makeup of Virus's mental skills because there are none. The guy's almost like paid by us to be here for a laugh. That's how bad he is.
Yeah, Hershey's denying straight line. He's saying he can get a straight line of sight, but he's also saying that light bends. So, which one is it?
Yeah. Well, he posted something on my on one of my things that I posted, and I posted it in Master B. He says we're denying the basics of geometry.
He's an idiot.
I mean, the guy who's doing it himself is projecting and saying we're doing it. Just real nonsense.
So where are you now?
Just leaving Idaho on the 184. Going to hit Salt Lake in about 4 hours. And then from there, aim towards Vegas, which will be a long haul. And then from there, go to California. I took up the fifth wheel, bought a trailer, a 20-footer, empty, hauling it back empty, but I'm going to fill it up with furniture and whatever's. And then do the drive again next week. So it'll be the same for as many weeks as it takes to do it.
You're leaving your whole farm?
We're selling it.
Now, are you going to do the same thing over there?
Yeah, but I'm going to wait for the market to adjust. Everything's too expensive right now. I mean, I'm selling on a high market, but I don't want to buy in the high market.
Nathan,
Hello?
who are you talking with when there's only you and me here?
The G Plus server.
What?
G Plus.
It's another
Okay,
platform.
how many people is there?
There's 3 currently.
Okay. Did David Weiss send you my document about my experiment?
No. Guys, can you keep on mute in G Plus just for a minute? Thank you. Or just don't. Yes, he did. It's not an experiment. You don't know what science is.
What do you mean?
Define experiment, please.
What?
Define experiment, please.
I think that was an experiment because I was following the steps of scientific method.
You haven't defined an experiment. Do you want to do that? You've just said, have you received documents with my experiment? And I've said that it's not an experiment. Do you know what an experiment is? Clearly not.
But doesn't that prove globe?
Sorry, can you define what an experiment is? We're just going to get an agreement in terminology terms. When you say experiment, you're wrong. You don't know what science is. What you have presented to Dave Weiss is not an experiment. Why am I having to go through this 3 times? Can you just define what an experiment is so we can check whether or not what you've said is an experiment is or isn't? By way of a definition, please. It's your word. You used it.
Isn't experiment like when you make a hypothesis, what will happen after you observe something, like like I did on my document.
Still yet to define experiment. You've used the word and you don't know what it means. Why are you doing that? Why are you using this word experiment? You haven't defined it. You don't know what it means. What you've presented certainly isn't that. Can you leave off
I have a little bad English.
Don't interrupt me.
Oh, sorry.
Don't use words that you don't understand. What you've presented, you've claimed, is an experiment. It isn't. Do you now concede that you don't know what an experiment is? You're yet to define it. You've had 3 attempts.
So isn't it like almost the same as like test or investigation or something like that? I think that what we did with Horn and Oscar, that was kind of like test if we could see the crux at the same time.
God,
in the
this is like pulling
position
teeth.
This is painful. I agree.
Shh. Can you, it's the 4th time I have asked, define an experiment? That's the 4th time I've asked. If the answer is no, just say no.
I guess no. I'll have to look.
So why did you use that word? Why did you ask me if I'd received an experiment when you don't even know what the word means? We're off to a very terrible start. Don't use words that you don't understand to sound like you're intelligent. Why are you doing that? Don't call what your crap from 2015 you presented to Dave an experiment. It's an outrage to science. Don't use that word again, please.
Can you define the experiment?
It's a hypothesis test. Hypothesis test. Yes, I can. Okay, sunshine, yes, I can define it. You had 4 attempts and babbled and stuttered and didn't manage it. So, to clarify, you will not use that word incorrectly again, will you? Just say yes. You've been educated.
Yes.
It's a hypothesis test. I've had to educate you on the words you've used incorrectly. Not off to a good start. I'm having to educate you on the words you've used.
So
Don't use it
wait,
again. Just say yes. I understand, Nathan. I won't use that word I don't understand again in reference to my crap. Just say yes. I understand.
Yes, but
Good.
So did you say that an experiment is a hypothesis test?
I said you haven't got one. Don't call it that. That's what I said. Is that clear?
But I had an
Is that clear?
hypothesis test.
I've said what you said was I've got an experiment. Have you received it? Via Dave Weiss. I corrected you. You haven't got what you said. That's what I've told you. Don't quiz me on what a bloody experiment is. I'm not claiming one, you are. Don't quiz me, how dare you? You claimed it. You didn't know what it meant. Are we all clear?
Yes, so
Good.
Can you tell me what it means?
No, I didn't claim it.
Claim what?
An experiment? Hello? The thing you claimed, and I've had to correct you that what you presented isn't that. Oh my God, this is the 6th time. Are you slow?
Okay, so...
Sorry, are you mentally
what?
retarded? Let's just establish. Normally, individuals that take 6 attempts to explain one single point tend to be mentally retarded. Are you mentally retarded?
No, I just...
Right, why am I having to explain this 6
Sorry.
times to you then? Why is it having to take 6 attempts to correct you on something you've said wrong? Have you no humility? I expect you on the first attempt, when failing...
Because you didn't...
Shh. What part of
Because
don't
you
interrupt me
didn't
didn't you
explain
understand?
me.
What part of don't interrupt
What
me
is
didn't
it?
you understand?
What is that?
What part of do not interrupt me didn't you understand? Did you think the guy being corrected on his inaccurate use of the word experiment needs interrupting constantly?
You asked me a question, so I was trying to answer you.
I'm not asking you anything. I'm telling you, don't use the words that you don't understand, especially experiment, which you've already used incorrectly.
Okay, so isn't the experiment a hypothesis?
Who cares? Who cares? What you have presented is not that. Okay? Don't quiz me. Don't quiz me. I haven't claimed anything. You've claimed an experiment. You were wrong. Don't now quiz me on what it is. Just accept that you don't understand it. If you need to go away and research the words you're using, go and do that. Don't ask me to educate your dumb ass on the words. Stop interrupting me. What part of that don't you get? I am currently berating you on your inaccuracies when it comes to scientific vernacular. Your word was experiment. You claimed it, not me. Do you think I need to explain the words you're using to you? No, I'll just point out where you use them incorrectly and tell you not to do it again. That's what I've done. Don't quiz me.
Okay.
Good. Now, what do you want?
I want you to tell me what was that document if it wasn't an experiment.
It's your claim. You tell me what you think you've got in your document.
I think it's a proof of globe because
Oh, really? Really?
What?
I said, oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't see that in there. Where was that specifically? Do you want to tell me what page it was on?
I'll check soon, but
How many pages?
Could you give me a summary of the globe proof, please?
okay, so wait a second. So did you read the whole
Yeah, you asked
document?
me that, yes.
You read, okay. So you know how I made a hypothesis. What in
What page
which
was that
position?
on? What page was the hypothesis on?
Wait, I'll take my computer and
Can you define
put
what a
it in
hypothesis
front of
is?
me.
Can you define what a hypothesis is for me, please?
It's something I accept to happen during the experiment.
Wrong. Do you want to try again? Second attempt.
I don't know. I think that's it.
So why did you use the word... I've already explicitly told you not to use words that you don't understand. Now you're telling me that you've got a hypothesis in this crap. You haven't. You don't know what a hypothesis is. Again, you're trying to use words that you don't understand to sound more intelligent than you are. Don't do that. It's not got a hypothesis in it. You don't know what that is.
Okay, so what is it then?
Why are you asking me? Second time. You're getting tedious. Did I use that word hypothesis or did you?
Can you repeat?
Did I use the word hypothesis or did you?
I did, yes.
So why would I be defining it to you when you've used it incorrectly again? Yes, I absolutely know what that word means. Am I going to define it for you when you're the one using it? No. I'll ask you to define it because you're the one using it, and already you failed to do that. So without question, you don't know what that word means, do you? Otherwise you'd be defining it for me. You just need to say yes, Nathan. Again, second time in a row, I've used a word to sound scientific, to sound intelligent, and I don't know what it means. This time it's hypothesis. Last time it was experiment. Can you stop using words that you don't know the meaning of? Can you stop doing that?
Okay.
Good. So what do you want me to look at? Where's the globe proof? What page is it on?
There's 11 pages.
I didn't ask how many pages there were. Try and pay attention to the question you're being asked.
Okay, so the experiment.
You haven't got an experiment. I'm going to get really pissed off with you really fast. Stop.
Observation.
Stop. Was the last 15 minutes of me telling you not to use that word because you don't know what it means unclear?
I was trying to correct myself. So the observation or test we made, I think it proves that the Earth is a globe because we were expecting the Crux constellation to be in a certain position when viewed from Australia and South Africa, and it was in exactly that position we were expecting it to be if the Earth is a globe. And when you are facing south on flat Earth, you are facing.
Let's just go one thing at a time. Is this part of the same claim, or is it now a different claim?
What?
Is this a different claim that you're moving on to, or is this the same claim?
This is the same claim.
Okay, my bad.
Okay, so, when you are on a globe and facing south, you can see the same stars. When you are in southern hemisphere, and when you are on a flat Earth, you can't because you are facing in two completely different directions. When you are facing south from Australia and South Africa, and we tested out this in a live video call with South African Oscar and Australian Horn, and they both saw the Crux constellation when facing south, and that proves the globe, I think. Because that's impossible on flat Earth.
Impossible on flat Earth. Okay, thank you. So just to summarise, you're saying that you observe, different star movements in the southern hemisphere, correct?
No movements, but just observing that we are able to see the constellation.
So you're saying that when travelling to the southern hemisphere, you see different constellations? Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
And that is impossible on a flat Earth, but works when you observe it in the southern hemisphere, correct?
Can you repeat?
It's your claim. I'm just clarifying your claim for you. I'm just repeating what you've just told me. You're saying that when you travel to the southern hemisphere, you observe a certain pattern in the stars, and that is
Yes.
impossible on a flat Earth. That's what you're saying, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what that is an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy based on a begging the question fallacy backed up by a false dichotomy fallacy. So that is 3 fallacies that you've used. So I'll break it down for you. Your first fallacy is called begging the question, otherwise known as assuming one's outcome. You started by presupposing that the Earth was a sphere. That's the thing you're trying to claim. That's the thing you're trying to prove. So you're claiming in the first instance the very thing you're trying to prove by way of an assumption, that the Earth is a sphere. You further confirm your begging the question fallacy by use of the word hemis what now? Oh, hemisphere, the thing you're trying to prove assumed in your premise. Again, begging the question. You then describe that if the Earth is a sphere and we travel to the southern hemisphere, then you'll observe these stars. We do travel, in my video, to the southern hemisphere, and we do observe those stars, therefore Earth's a sphere. That would be an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. If P, then Q, Q, therefore P. The fallacy being that Q doesn't necessarily follow P. So your logic is extremely flawed in your premise in the first instance, which begs the question by way of hemispheres. Lastly, you backed it up or topped it off with a false dichotomy fallacy, saying this can only work on a flat Earth, can only work on a globe, can't work on a flat Earth. That would be a false dichotomy fallacy. Your version of what I claim the Earth is, I haven't even asked what I claim the Earth is yet, so I don't know why you're holding it up against some flat Earth model. Meanwhile, your globe model you assumed by way of hemisphere is a model. It's just a model. And you're reifying, so that's a fourth fallacy, that model into existence by way of a begging the question, affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy backed up with a false dichotomy fallacy. So 4 fallacies in your statement. Definitely not proving Earth's a sphere. Moronic. Next.
Okay, so how was it? How is it possible that?
Sorry, did I
we
make a
saw-
claim about it being possible in some way? Did I make a claim about that, or did you just use 4 fallacies to claim Earth's a sphere by way of an assumption of hemispheres? I didn't claim anything. Why are you asking me?
You claim the Earth is flat. Right?
When did I claim this? Did I say this to you in this context right now? Did I claim it in
No,
regards to your little proofsy that you presented? Do I have to explain how you're... Can you shut up? Can you shut up? When I list off a load of rhetorical questions, I expect you to shut your mouth.
Okay.
This is your claim that you have used to claim the Earth's a sphere. You're not going to use the tail end of that 4 string of fallacies. That would be the false dichotomy fallacy to say, well, how does it work on your model? Just because I didn't rip apart what a false dichotomy was. God, I had to lay out every single fallacy. So holding up my model that I haven't claimed against your model and demanding I tell you how it works, that's also 5th fallacy. It's called a burden of proof reversal fallacy. So the burden is on to prove your claim, and now you're shifting the burden like I've got to justify it. So you've used 5 fallacies in that statement. 5 fallacies in that argument, my friend.
Okay.
Not okay. You thought that was globe proof. It was absolutely riddled with fallacy. Most importantly, the assumption of the very thing you're trying to prove. You're trying to prove a sphere, not assume it in the first instance. It is not okay. Now, clearly you're a newbie, but I'll tell you this once, because there is one cardinal rule here in Flat Earth debate. You do not beg the question. Now, I'm only going to tell you that once. I won't repeat it. You will not assume your outcome here. That is the cardinal sin. You're here to prove it, not assume it. So it's not okay. Is that clear?
Yes.
Right. Do you have any arguments that aren't utilising fallacious reasoning?
So, I didn't expect, that it's a globe. We were just trying to find out whether we can or cannot see the Crux constellation.
Sorry, we just covered this.
When
You assumed a sphere when you said hemisphere. What part of my explanation for your begging the question fallacy? Hema what now? Hema what now?
Okay, so
Sorry, answer me,
hemisphere,
please.
yes.
So, sphere? Isn't that the thing you're trying to prove as opposed to assume in the first instance? Yeah, you absolutely... Shut up. Don't just deny that you assumed your outcome in your crap proofsy. You did. I just explained it to you. Now I'm having to explain it to you a second time while you have a second crap of the whip. My friend, you used 5 fallacies, affirming the consequent. Shut up! Are you retarded? I am telling you how unbelievably stupid you have been in that last claimed proofsy of a globe. You use a begging the question fallacy, an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy, a burden of proof reversal fallacy, a false dichotomy fallacy, and a reification fallacy. In one claim! Now you think you need to go on and try and have a go with this same claim? It used 5 fallacies. Not 5 really good formulated pieces of logic. 5 fallacies! Do not move on with this exact same claim that I have just ripped to shreds. Next, proofsy for the globe.
Okay, so what word should I use?
Proof after your claim.
If
so
I can't use
say proof
Southern
after the claim.
Should I?
Say, was it rhetorical? What part of the question mark at the end of your statement when you asked what word you should use? Did you think that meant that you could continue talking indefinitely? Use the word proof at the end of a statement that includes a globe. That's it. Then when it isn't, I'll rip it to shreds. That's it. Simple. Go. Next.
Okay, so when you are on flat Earth and you are south...
Who cares? You're not here to... Sorry, why are you talking about flat Earth? Are you now claiming flat Earth? Welcome to flat Earth. Is that now your claim?
So are
Did you hear the question?
Earther?
Did you hear the question? Maybe repeat back the question so I don't have to say it 6 more times. What was the question I just asked you? Are you claiming a flat Earth now?
I don't claim the Earth is flat.
So don't argue about it then. Just argue about what you are here to claim, which is a globe. Don't hold up some little straw man about what you think flat Earth is. You're not claiming that. Shh. What is it with you? Are you mentally retarded? Do you not hear me in the middle of a sentence? Shut your dumb mouth when I talk. Otherwise I'll start having to shout at you and call you names for being mentally retarded. Do not talk when I talk. If you are not claiming a flat plane, then you don't need to be attacking anything. We haven't claimed anything. So what part of that don't you understand? I haven't claimed anything, have I? Have I made a claim to you? No, I haven't.
Okay, I understand now.
Good.
Okay.
So get on with your globe proof. Chop, chop, next. Don't burn any flat Earth straw men.
Okay, so you saw the pictures of me taking picture of the Crux constellation drawing on my floor, and I had the globe map ball where I was taking the picture from Australia and then from South Africa. You saw the pictures.
But we've already covered this. Is there something else attached to this particular observation? If he begs the question again, I'm going to get furious. Is there anything else? We've just covered this, and it's 5 fallacies.
So do you have the document in front of you? It's
yes.
It's the page 6.
Sorry, is there anything else beyond the 5 fallacies you've already used in this regard? Or did you want to beg the question again?
So, do you understand my point that...
Understand it? I ripped it to shreds and detailed the 5 fallacies you used. He's mentally fucking retarded, isn't he? Yes, I understood it. Yes, I read it. Yes, it's on screen. Yes, I did detail the 5 fallacies you used in that claim. Now, I'd like you to move on from this crap I have ripped to shreds.
Okay, so I am here to, debunk the flat Earth and at the same time prove the globe. And this observation of us seeing
He's
the
ignoring
crux
you, Nathan.
population.
Yeah, so when I say don't build any flat earth straw men to burn, he's going to now build a little flat earth straw man to burn. Sorry, what claim have I made that you're now attacking? Which claim did I make that you're now going to attack?
I'm not attacking any of your claims.
Oh, well then, so it's a straw man fallacy then.
Okay,
Do you understand what a straw man fallacy is? Burning a little claim that I haven't made based on your idea of what flat earth is? No. 3rd time I've had to say this to you. Let's not burn any flat earth straw men based on what I haven't claimed and you think, with a stereotyping fallacy, I must claim. Let's not do that. 3rd time I've said it. Now, where, 5th time, is your next globe proof, C?
Okay, so now I must ask you that do you agree with that the Earth is flat? Because I mean, do you think the Earth is flat? Because if you don't say that you think it's flat, then I'm just gonna be strawmanning all the time here, and we can't.
Sorry, why are you trying to divine my motivation? You're here to present globe proof. Do you want to get on with it? Don't divine my motivation.
The big part of this globe proof is to show how this thing is impossible on flat Earth. But if
I covered that as well. Did you not listen when I went through what a false dichotomy was? I went through what a false dichotomy and reification fallacy was. Did you not listen?
Yeah, I did.
You did. So now you want to hold up a flat Earth model versus your globe model in another false dichotomy fallacy. Is that what you're suggesting you do when I've already detailed the false dichotomy fallacy, the use therein with another 4 fallacies alongside it in your last claim proof, see? Yeah, we've covered a false dichotomy. Let's not use another one. How do you think you're doing, by the way?
What?
How do you think you're getting on? 0 for 1 so far. You've not proved a globe with your first proof, see? 0 for 1. Next, we haven't got to the second yet. Not doing well. That was my point.
Okay, so I was expecting the crux to be.
I don't care what you were expecting. Just tell me what page and how it's a globe proof. Get on with it.
Okay, so page 6, there's my test, what it should look, in which position should the crux be when viewed from Australia and
Holy shit.
Holy shit, man. This is the 4th fucking time I've had to tell you this. You stupid retard. Don't tell me what it'll do on a flat Earth map that you've decided is my model versus your stupid globe model you will reify.
I didn't say anything about flat Earth.
What it will do in the south. That is going to be based on what your model says it will do in the south, won't it?
Yes.
So a reification fallacy then? Do you know what a reification fallacy is?
No.
It's the fallacy of misplaced concretedness. The map is not the terrain. That would be the quote underneath the definition of a reification fallacy. How do you think you're doing? That's 0 for 2 so far.
So I can't expect in which position the crux would be when viewed from Australia and South Africa when viewed from the globe. I can't expect that. You mean?
And we live on the globe model, do we? We live on a reified globe model, the mathematics of which is actually the land beneath our feet. So your ideas of what the model shows proves that's the ground beneath our feet, does it? That's a reification fallacy. Second time I've told you. I think it's the third.
No, that I don't say, because we haven't yet got to the experiment part.
You don't know what that word means. I've already told you twice not to use that word.
Sorry.
You don't know what it means. Don't pretend to be intelligent by using scientific vernacular. Don't interrupt me while I tell you off, having told you twice not to use the word experiment when you don't know what the hell it means.
Okay, so I meant the observation part, or the observation part.
No, you didn't. You said on the model. On the globe. That's a model.
Yes, so first thing I did, I was expecting, I was testing in which position the crux would be when we view it on a globe model.
Yeah, we don't live on a model. Is this not sinking in? Is the fact that it's a reification fallacy a troubling problem for your proofsies because you need to reify a model? Yeah. I don't care.
No, we don't live on
Shut up!
Model.
My God, he's incessantly babbling constantly when his stupidity comes to the head. Yet we know that you are now making the fourth attempt to use this reification fallacy. Next.
Okay, so what we observed was exactly the same we were accepting to see on a globe Earth.
So your correlation with your model is not causation. So what? You've correlated something you've seen with a model. We don't live on a model. This is the fifth time.
Okay, so then
Okay, so you understand that your use of this model is set in stone in terms of what the model parameters are. You understand that, right? Let's ask you a couple of questions from your stupid, crappy proofsy, as you don't seem to want to be moving on. You've got a diagram in there that uses a value of R. How did you measure it?
Measure what?
R.
Radius.
Yes. How did it get measured?
I didn't claim that I measured anything.
Sorry, I've got your diagram up on screen. It's got an R in it. It's on squared paper. Hello?
Which has got an R on it?
I just told you 25 seconds ago. Squared paper. Handwritten. With R.
Okay.
Hello, this is your document. 8 inch per mile squared rule is the heading. Underneath, it has a graph, paper, drawing with R. My God, this is tedious. This is your work. Hello?
Which page?
The one that's headed 8 inch per mile squared rule?
Yes.
That page. Do you see the R on it?
I didn't mention 8 inch per mile squared rule here.
Sorry. Did you understand the question? Is this your graph?
This document is mine.
Right. Do you see where it says R?
No.
Okay, so you don't see a line from the outside edge. It's marked twice, moving to the centre on your diagram, labelled R, twice. You don't see that. Hello?
I'm not sure what you mean.
There's a R value. R, it says. On your diagram, it's labelled twice. Are you blind or just retarded?
Which diagram?
You're the one... Is it the end of your time here?
There's no diagram on my presentation.
There's no diagram with squared paper.
Yes.
That's headed 8-inch per mile squared rule.
Yeah, so what about it?
It's got an R on it. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah. Where was
Okay.
that measured?
I don't know.
Why are you using it then?
I'm not using it.
It's in your diagram. What do you mean you're not using it? Of course you're using it. It's labelled with R. So this R labelled next to a radius on the circle.
Wait.
So, sorry, did you think that you're just denying your use of your own R value that you don't have a measurement for needs interrupting, right? You need to talk straight through the middle of me pointing out that it's taken 5 minutes for you to identify your own handwritten R value that you put on your document. Yeah, you've definitely got it. I want to know where it's measured. Because we've debunked it. Maybe you didn't know.
Do we have the same document?
Why are you asking me something? Where was R measured? It's the one in your diagram. I've taken long enough for you to identify it. Where's it measured?
Can you show me?
Why are you asking me something? You know what R is? Do you understand what Earth radius is? It's definitely in your diagram. You wrote it with your own hand.
Okay.
So where was it measured? Where was it measured? Hello? Hello? Think we need to spend 25 minutes identifying the fact that you've written an R value next to a sphere, next to a straight line moving to the centre of it, denoting a radius? Yes, I can see it. I've identified it. You wrote it. Let's move on. Where was it measured?
I don't know.
All right. Well, we've debunked it. So you're using a value that's been debunked. Do you think that needed interruption? Middle of my sentence, still in the middle of the same sentence. He still thinks it needs interrupting. When I highlight for the 4th time with interruption from him that the value he doesn't quite understand, doesn't think is used, even though he wrote it down on his own document, has been debunked. He doesn't know where he got it or where it's measured. He's just using it because he's a sheep. He was given it by someone else without any verification whatsoever. And then he just assumes it in every argument he makes. If Earth's a sphere with hemispheres, that doesn't mean interrupt me. That doesn't mean interrupt me, shit for brains. It means I'm detailing how stupid you are for an audience. That's what it means. It means shut up and listen to how the value you didn't know how to identify even though you wrote it has been debunked by us. You don't know where you got it because you're a sheep and you were handed it, and therefore, based on that presuppositional R value that you don't know how it was measured, you've decided to beg the question continually and incessantly about hemispheres. Yeah? Yeah, you don't even know where the value's measured. My God, why are you here claiming this? You don't know anything about heliocentrism whatsoever. You certainly don't know anything about science. Why are you here?
He Googled it.
I believe you have...
Don't tell me what you believe I've got. Tell me why you're here, given that you don't know anything about heliocentrism.
I'm here to show how it's impossible on flat Earth.
Yeah, we know you're here to hold up a false dichotomy. Yeah, we know you're here to burn straw men. We covered that. But your little globe proof, see, the bit that you're actually here to make a positive assertion about, you don't know anything about that. You haven't got the first clue about heliocentrism. What is the radius of Earth? What's the value?
6,371 kilometers.
And how was that measured?
I'm not sure.
Okay. We've debunked that radius value. If the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to horizon measurement could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And we have imagery that shows that geometric limitation at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet isn't there. The horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, is beyond the geometric limitations of an Earth sphere radius 3959. Therefore, we've debunked your radius value that you don't know where you measured it.
Okay, so can you check DM? I sent you the right document there, because on my document I didn't claim anything about the 8 inches per mile squared rule.
Okay, can somebody post it in G+?
So can you check my...
I'm just using what Dave Weiss sent me. I mean, I had the other stuff that you were talking about on there. I'm pretty sure it's the right document. Have you
when
updated
he
it?
sent that to you?
Yeah. You asked me. We covered this. It was the first thing we covered. You called an experiment. Remember? We covered this. So have you got any other proof Cs? No more straw men to burn, I hope.
So have you read this exact document?
We covered this. Yes.
We didn't cover this.
So what do you... Oh, my God. So what's next?
Because
what do you want to cover next?
I didn't get an answer how it's possible to see the crux at the exact same time.
Oh, did I make a claim about that? When did I make... Sorry, when did I make that claim about that? Would this be the burden of proof reversal fallacy? Or did I make this as a claim?
You are a flat earther.
Oh, so it's a stereotyping fallacy then. Oh, right. I knew a globe believer who was a murderer. Therefore, okay, so by way of stereotyping fallacy, you are automatically a murderer. Correct?
Okay, so you...
Okay, so you're a murderer because there's been globe believers that have killed people. Therefore, you're a murderer because I can use stereotyping fallacies too. Right? You've used the stereotyping fallacy. You stupid idiot.
Okay, so...
So, because all flat earthers say something doesn't mean I've claimed it. So, back to my original question. When did I claim this?
I assumed...
When did I claim it? Don't tell me what you've assumed. Tell me when I claimed it. And when you say I didn't, I'll point out that you've got
a... It.
Sorry? My bad. When did I claim this?
You didn't.
Did you claim it? Was it part of your proof, see, by any chance? Because if so... It's a burden of proof reversal fallacy, along with a stereotyping fallacy.
Okay, so...
Okay? You think when you bundle me with a whole bunch of people that that's okay? No, it isn't. I find it absolutely outrageous. Don't stereotype me. Just attack the claims I do make. For example, when I claim you've used a stereotyping fallacy, you can attack that. You can say, nah, it's not a stereotyping fallacy. When I say all flat earthers say. You could attack that, because that's something I have said. Or you could just interrupt me before the end of my statement every single time. Because you're losing badly, so you're going to need to interrupt so you don't have to listen to me. Tell you that you've just used two fallacies. That would be burden of proof reversal and stereotyping fallacy. You want to apologise for stereotyping me?
Okay, I'm very sorry about...
Good! Let's not have that again, sunshine. Don't be stereotyping me, you stupid shit-for-brains retard with a globe belief. Let's move on to your stupid globe proofsy.
Okay, so...
Good! Chop, chop! No more stereotypes or telling me what I think about flat Earth. Next globe proofsy.
Okay, so... you don't have a map, correct? You don't think the...
So which map did I claim? Did I claim a map?
You have...
Did I claim a map, you stuttering bitch? You have just said your map.
Claim you.
What map did I claim? You stupid stuttering idiot.
But wait, why are you interrupting me all the time so that I can't make my point clear?
About my map? I asked you which map I claimed. If we're going to be talking about a map and you're going to be attacking that map, I want to know whether or not you think I've claimed it or not. That's why I interrupted. Perfectly justifiable. I'm not going to let you burn a little stereotyping fallacy map that all flat earthers adhere to. They don't. So,
yes,
if I haven't claimed it, I'm going to interrupt and establish whether or not I have. Have I?
I'm trying to figure out which map you claim to
I
be
don't.
the correct
That clear? I don't.
You don't claim
No,
any
the
map.
map is not the terrain. That's a reification fallacy. What he wants is, can you reify a map for me so I can burn it? No, that's a reification fallacy. It's about the 5th time I've told you. But it'd be really convenient for you right now if I claimed a map, would it? I don't. Do you understand?
Okay, yes.
I'm not a cartographer. I'm not making maps. So why the hell are you claiming that I am? Do you want to apologise again? Yet another stereotyping fallacy. Second strike on that fallacy. I'd like an apology. I haven't claimed any map. Just a stereotyping fallacy you've decided to use for the second time. What an outrage.
So, you don't think the Earth is flat, you just...
Yes. Sorry, is that another straw man? I don't think the Earth is flat. When did I say that? Do you want to put that in quotes? Did I say that?
If you think...
The Earth is absolutely, unequivocally, observably, measurably flat. I can prove that. I can prove it. Elevation angle measurement requires Euclidean three-space geometry. That would be length, breadth and depth with straight lines to get angles. Elevation angles can only be done on a flat plane. Now, given that I've just made a claim, maybe you can explain how you get an elevation angle, that's 2 straight lines, when the surface is curving. Go.
Why are you changing the subject?
Sorry, I've asked you 5 times to move on with your next globe proof, see, and all you keep doing is offering up fallacies. Your last 2 attempts involved burden of proof reversal fallacy because your claim failed, and then you started asking me how your claim should work. Well, that's a burden of proof reversal fallacy. There he is interrupting me. You also said, well, all flat earthers have got a map. That's a stereotyping fallacy. So why am I changing the subject? Because you haven't got anything. You're 2-0 so far. You've presented 2 claims. I've ripped them to shreds and pointed out where they are fallacious. Now I'm making a fucking claim. Is that okay by you? Having made 2 and lost twice? I'm not allowed to make a claim on my own damn show. Yeah, Earth's flat, and I'll prove it with evidence. That would be elevation angle measurement. How do you, the sphere believer, who I am challenging in his positive claim of sphereness that he assumes, how do you, the sphere believer, get an elevation angle from a curved baseline? Go!
I don't want to change...
What, debate this subject? You just want to throw your stupid fallacies out there, unchallenged?
Okay, can I...
Not okay! You have used nothing less than 7 fallacies in your visit so far. Not okay! Infuriating!
Because you don't want to talk about this subject because
Go!
I
do!
You...
Go!
Okay, so do you think there's an ice wall surrounding the Earth?
Sorry, is that another
gosh.
3rd in a row stereotyping fallacy? Oh my God, did I claim an ice wall? Sorry, when did I claim one?
I asked you if you think it's that way. I didn't say that.
Oh, I see. Do you like interfering with small children?
What?
Do you like interfering? Just asking. Just asking.
No.
Oh, right. No. Did I claim an ice wall?
Is your answer...
Did I claim an ice wall?
What?
Did I claim one?
No, that's...
No. So you just need another straw man to burn. Hello, I've asked you. You've said I don't want to involve myself in this conversation. I'm repeatedly asking you to offer your globe proof.
I cannot offer my globe proof if I don't know what you think the world is like.
Oh, you can't prove your positive claim unless you know my positive claim? What a load of nonsense. So if I claim unicorns, unless you prove rhinoceros, I can't prove unicorns? Yeah, you can. You've got a positive claim that the Earth's a sphere, and that's what you're damn well going to be proving here. So far, you've had 2 attempts and failed on both. Me, on the other hand, I've had 1 attempt. Elevation angles. I've proved flat Earth already. No challenge from you, I see. You've presented 2. I've challenged them and ripped them apart based on the 7 fallacies they've used. You did no such thing when I presented my proof of a flat Earth, did you? You told me you didn't want to get involved in anything other than putting out your spurious, fallacious claims. Yeah, we know. That's what most of our opponents are like. They don't want to get involved when they are met with a flat earther's positive claim. Then they don't know what the hell to do. Me, on the other hand, when you present your shitty claims, I know exactly what to do. Rip them to shreds, and that's what I did, didn't I?
Instead of dealing with an elevation angle, he went to ice wall.
So, do you
do you have an answer for the elevation angle? No idea. Don't want to get involved in my claimed proof. Just completely unchallenged. Your two got challenged. 2-0. I challenged both. I've offered you a proof of a flat Earth. You haven't challenged it. You haven't even responded to it.
I didn't claim I have an answer to your question.
Yeah, well, that's flat Earth proof right there. Take it and leave it. Don't have to like it. Elevation angles prove Earth is flat. You can't get an elevation angle from a curved Earth.
It's 0 for 2, not 2-0.
So,
2-1.
Do you have the David Weiss's Flat Earth Clock app?
Didn't we cover this first thing we covered? I think we've covered this, haven't we? Maybe ask me 6 more times if I got the presentation from Dave Weiss when I confirmed it and have presented it to an audience and gone through it with you. And you failed to identify an hour you wrote down. And then asked me if it needed sending again. And then interrupted me while I pointed out that this ham-handed segue.
You misunderstood me. Okay, so I asked you if you have the David Weiss's Flat Earth Clock application.
Why?
I'm just asking, do you have it?
Why?
So that I could ask you if you agree with the map it's showing.
So is that my application? It's my app, is it?
I'm just asking, do you
You just
agree?
need another straw man and you think you're going to get one in the form of David Weiss's app, which is mine, and I've made claims about it, haven't I? Sorry, do you want to quote some claims I've made about that app? Because you're desperately clawing at straws for a straw man to burn, aren't you? You desperately need something.
Okay, so...
Not okay. Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Now, we are joined by Arwin, Adam, Chocolate Sane, Eli, 10th Man, Neil, Refracted Curvature, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
I'm in pain.
Oh, well,
Hey, good morning.
go to the doctor.
Good morning.
Afternoon, everyone.
Morning, one and all.
You missed the fallacy, Nathan. You missed the fallacy.
We'll come to that after we do housekeeping. Can you put a lid on it for a minute and just remember it?
Oh, I won't forget it.
Okay. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge, that's a horizon, formerly known as Earth curvature?
Negative.
Are we doing this quick? So we move on? No. None.
No. Don't. There's no rush.
No rush.
Okay, so
I'll just say
Nathan,
we have according to some of these globers, we have an atmosphere.
Hold on. Go ahead, Jorge. Sorry, Chocolate.
No, go ahead.
Black Swan debunked it 2 years ago. No proof of a physical horizon. No, it moves with the weather.
You want to add something? Eferal, or however you say your name? Erafazi. Did you have something to add?
what? Can you repeat?
We're asking for evidence of a Earth curve edge horizon.
I'm showing the evidence. I'm not showing the evidence of the curvature.
But that's what that is.
I am.
Do you know
Okay,
what the geometric horizon is supposed to be?
Okay, so I was talking with Nathan, and he didn't seem to agree with the flat Earth map, and this is really hard to show what my point is with this.
Why is it hard for you to prove a sphere unless you hold a map against it? Just prove your sphere.
Earth curve. If you're not got any evidence of Earth curve.
Okay, so first I need to hear that. Do you guys agree that the flat Earth map is like
There's no such thing.
Are you trying to prove it? Are you trying to prove Earth curves with a flat Earth map? What are you doing?
Trying to burn a straw man by way of a stereotyping fallacy. We covered it about 3 times. He just still wants to burn that straw man.
Continue burning.
Okay, so
Does he realize that this is his flat Earth map? Do you realize that?
I tried that too, Brian. I tried to ask him if it was his claim of a flat Earth now, because he's claiming it. It's not something we're claiming and offering up as some sort of proof that he's pulling apart and refuting. It's his claim of what a flat Earth is. So I asked him if he's a flat Earther, and he was like, no. And it seemed to understand that what he was doing was burning a straw man, but he's done it 4 times since.
Okay, so now I just need to know. Can you guys show me what the flat Earth map looks like?
I'll try this for the 3rd time.
Right.
Just try this for the 3rd time. The map is not the terrain. That's called a reification fallacy. I've told you this now more than 3 times.
Okay, so
But why? I don't understand why he's talking about that. I thought he was going to provide you with the proof. Why is talking about why are you talking about anything other than your globe proof? I don't get it.
Yeah, you're not going to prove what it is by telling us what it isn't.
That makes no sense.
Excuse me, Nathan, please repeat the housekeeping question because he's not even answering that.
Yeah, we know he can't listen. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon formerly known as Earth curve?
So can you answer?
This is your time to shine. This is
your time to prove Earth a sphere. Yeah. These questions are unanswered. We've been asking them for about 3 years. Now, you're here under the misapprehension that you can prove a sphere. So these questions should be a doddle, right? Any evidence of Earth curve, physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, we debunked it. But maybe you can set us straight, given that you believe Earth's a sphere. There's maths set out for Earth curve. You're not going to claim any of it? Some of it was in your document, by the way.
Yeah, that was the other document. So you haven't read my observations.
Sorry, dude. When you say I haven't read it, I listened to you. Did you hear me listening to you? I listened to you talk about hemispheres and then pointed out how you'd beg the question of a sphere. Did you not listen to me refute what you said? You claimed it, I listened to it, then I ripped it to shreds based on its fallacious logic.
He glued it back together.
It's just like it's like he's in a video game. He gets shot in the face and then just respawns.
You didn't.
Bro, when you're asked for proof of Earth, hey guy, hey, when you're asked for proof of Earth curve, why are you talking about a flat Earth map?
Because it's important to agree with the flat Earth map, because then we can see how it's impossible to see the Crux constellation at the exact same time when facing south from Australia and South Africa, and it's only possible on a globe Earth. And yeah, that's the point.
And when have you done this? Have you faced south in those locations at the same time?
Okay, so you haven't read my document.
I'm asking a question. Have you done it?
Yes, I have. I was in a live video call with a South African and Australian, and they both proved the direction they were facing by using compasses, and they proved they saw the Crux constellation by using Stellarium app and
in the sky.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I heard you the first time you claimed it. Okay. And how does that exactly prove that we're on a sphere?
Because that's on. Okay, so that's only possible on a sphere.
That's begging the question. So if the Earth's a sphere, then you will move to the south and be hanging off the bottom of a sphere because you've assumed south is the bottom of a sphere, right? Antipodal in the southern hemisphere. Yeah, we definitely already covered this, didn't we? So it's only possible if you assume that that observation is taking place on the bottom of a sphere. So you move towards the horizon, that would be south, and when you get to your location, having moved south, you assume that you're then hanging off the bottom of a ball. Why? Well, because I'm on a ball. That's a begging the question fallacy. I've already covered this.
The first thing you covered, by the way.
Yeah, very first thing I covered. I also told him it was a cardinal sin to beg the question here.
So there's only two options,
can I ask
right?
this man a question? Hello. Sorry. When you say crux, what are you talking about? What is it you're talking about when you say crux?
He's meaning the Southern Cross.
Southern Cross constellation.
Southern Cross is not Sigma Octantis. You don't know what you're talking about, it seems. The Southern Cross can be seen from Texas, North Africa, it can be seen from the Philippines, all kinds of places north of the equator. The Southern Cross is not Sigma Octantis. What you're trying to claim, and you said you did something that I know you didn't do, because I used to live in Australia and I'm from Ireland. I know you didn't do any of these things.
It doesn't matter if you did or he didn't. Hold on, Brian, hold on. It doesn't matter either way. What does it prove? Well, if I assume that south is antipode from north, then it's only possible on a globe. That's begging the question. You're not proving that when you travel south, you arrive antipode from where you first started. That's just your assumption. Again, I said this the third time. That's you begging the question of a sphere, assuming a sphere in the first instance. You've in no way proved that travelling south means you arrive antipode from your previous location. You haven't proven that. You've assumed it.
Has he done declination? Have you done declination?
Well, I was going to come to that later.
Okay.
Again, I didn't cover declination. He didn't mention it because it isn't really that relevant. Even if he did or didn't account for declination, which would mean that he's not pointing in the direction the compass is saying he is, because he's accounted for declination, which immediately screws up the entire claim. But the claim is based on the assumption of antipodal travel. I move south, and when I get there, I'm antipode. That's his assumption.
So you have to prove that...
I don't have to do jack. You fail. You beg the question. You assume antipodal positioning.
You have to show...
You assume antipodal positioning. You failed.
By showing how it works.
I don't have to show jack. Another burden of proof reversal fallacy. I don't have to prove what you have claimed in any way, shape or form after it fails as a claim. I'd have to do jack.
So you just take...
So you failed. This is a begging the question fallacy on steroids. You assume antipodal positioning. You didn't prove it.
Any of you explain how it's possible.
Why? That's a burden of proof reversal fallacy. It's your claim that failed. Suddenly it's up to us to prove how it does work. No. You're thick.
Oh,
You're
fucking
thick.
Dude.
I've explained a burden of proof reversal fallacy to him, and he still thinks it's our responsibility to explain his claim when it fails. No, it isn't.
Which of my claims have failed?
All of them.
Everyone.
How? Because they use fallacious logic.
Oh my God.
For this one, for example, this is the fourth attempt. To assume the very... That's 2 words I got out before you interrupted me. So, when you assume the very premise that you are trying to prove with your example, and then detailing how showing the thing that is claimed to prove the assumption is proving the assumption, that's called an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. If P, then Q, Q, therefore P. If Earth a sphere, then star rotation in whatever way you describe. I've done it on a video call, star rotation, therefore Earth's a sphere. If P, Earth a sphere, then Q, star rotation as described and videotaped. Q, star rotation as videotaped, therefore Earth a sphere. That's a fallacy. Maybe you'd like to ask me again how I've ripped your stupid, shitty claim to pieces. Go on, ask me again.
So okay, so I have to explain this one more time. So, don't interrupt me. So,
I will do what the fuck I like. This is my show. When you beg the question, I will absolutely interrupt you, and I'll rip your head off for doing so.
So, my claim was that when you are facing south from Australia and South Africa, you cannot see the same constellation.
We heard. We heard. Sorry, we heard all this.
So David Weiss told me that you will explain me how that works on a flat Earth.
Oh, did he now? I don't give a crap what David Weiss said for me on my behalf.
Okay, so
take it up with Dave.
Cannot explain
take it up with Dave.
How we observed the Crux constellation at the exact same time from Australia and South Africa, then I will win the 3 bitcoins. If you cannot
doesn't matter, Brian. I'll try this with you, Brian, last time. He's already explained it. We've already heard it. We listened, and I explained how it is a begging the question, affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. He hasn't acknowledged it. He's just started rinsing and repeating. You've been shot in the face and respawned by any chance? I've already explained how this is fallacious. You've assumed the very thing you're trying to prove. Now you're saying that I've got to explain it. G+, for the love of Jesus Christ.
Okay, so if you can't explain how it works on flat
I didn't
Earth,
make it as a claim. I don't need to.
Yes, you need to.
Oh, do I? I must adhere to your burden of proof reversal fallacy, must I? No, I don't have to. I haven't claimed it.
He must prove his claim first, Nathan.
Yeah,
that's first.
That's correct.
He must prove that first.
Yes, do you not understand?
To refute.
Yes, that's right. You have the burden of proof. It's your claim. I don't have to prove it. I don't have to justify it on some model I don't hold up. You are wrong. You don't understand how to debate.
Claim.
You're an idiot. Sorry, my friend. You are stupid. You don't understand the rules of engagement when it comes to debate. Your premise has been flawed from the outset. It's been proven so, demonstrated so, and detailed so by me. Yet you seem to think you need to repeat it again like I haven't listened to it. You seem to think that because you've been told by Dave Weiss that I'm going to explain your stupid shit, that I'm going to. I'm not. That is not how debate works. Just because you've offered some stupid shitty claim that's failed doesn't mean I suddenly have to get into explaining it.
So nobody can explain me how this works on flat Earth.
Sorry, that's an argument from silence fallacy. Another fallacy. My God, it just every second word out of your mouth is a fallacy.
Okay.
So no one can explain it because it hasn't been explained to date. Argument from silence. G+ are getting really irritating. Raising my blood pressure when I'm trying to control this dick interrupting me constantly. Argument from silence fallacy. Just because it hasn't been explained doesn't mean there's no explanation for it. I'm not going to be explaining it. I've not offered it up as a claim.
We're hungry.
Okay, so you admit you cannot explain this.
So he's just going to do the same argument from silence fallacy for a second time. Rinse and repeat. Been shot in the face again. Time to respawn. Completely ignore the gunshot wound.
So, okay. So
Tell me again that I'm not, that nobody can, blah, blah, blah. Go on, try it for a third time.
Why aren't you answering the housekeeping question?
Yeah, I know. Where's Earth Curve?
Okay, and now you just changed the subject.
It's housekeeping. We've asked these questions for about 3 years. And I said to you already, given that we've already refuted your claims and pointed out where they're fallacious, we're moving on to asking questions pertinent to your religious faith in a sphere that only so far has had fallacy to back it. No proof. None.
Hey, the winner of this discussion is not the one who's yelling louder. It's the one who
points out their winning argument with proof that can be backed with evidence, as opposed to the one that presents a load of fallacy and then has to have it explained over and over and over again, and then claims that I've not listened and starts repeating the same thing that's been detailed and pulled apart with details of how it's a fallacy. That's not me. That's not me raising my voice because I need to shout at you to win. It's me raising my voice because you're a fuckwit. And every time I explain how your logic is flawed, you tell me I haven't listened and just repeat the same exact logic. You're stupid.
Do you think I don't have evidence of what I'm claiming?
I know you don't.
What the fuck? I have evidence. I have the whole screen recording of the whole thing.
Go ahead then.
No, you don't. That assumed. Sorry, your video. Is he going to claim his video about these stars again when I've pointed out that he's assuming antipodal positioning? Is he just going to talk through me pointing out where this argument failed again? You're just going to talk through me pointing out how it failed? Maybe if you talk through me pointing out how it failed, you don't have to accept that it failed.
That's exactly it. He's not accepting it.
So you don't believe that we
Not belief. I pointed out where your logic was flawed.
How?
Oh my God.
Told you.
He doesn't realise. Sorry.
You assumed antipodal positioning with the use of Hema what now? I'm pretty sure we've done this twice. Hema what now? Hello? Hemi begging the question now. Hemi assuming my outcome now. When they move to that Hemi begging the question fallacy. So tell me we haven't covered it and I just don't accept it. It's a belief. You stupid clown.
Okay, so you can't explain this to me.
So what, I've got to now explain it because you've reversed the burden of proof? I'm pretty sure that we've explained this before. We're back to you reversing the burden. Your claim failed, so now I've got to explain it, have I?
I have all the needed proof for...
No, you haven't. I've just debunked it. You haven't proven antipodal positioning. You've assumed it, and then made an observation of what the stars do. You've then affirmed the consequent. If P, then Q, Q, therefore P. I've gone through this several times with you. I know it's painful. I know you don't want to believe that your so wonderfully laid out little proof seers of a globe couldn't possibly be flawed. You can't quite believe it, can you? They are deeply flawed. And old. And old. Why are you interrupting me while I point out how crap your arguments are? Is it painful? Do you think that by talking through me telling you how crap your arguments are, that's going to stop them being crap and old? We defeated every single... Yeah, I am still berating your crap arguments. That's right. You do definitely need to interrupt me. It is definitely very painful when I tell you in no uncertain terms that your old crap arguments were all refuted more than 7 years ago. Some of them by me personally. 7 years ago.
Yeah, this is like a throwback.
Your crap arguments prove nothing. How do you think it's possible that I can rattle off the exact fallacy that you've used with details and your example intact, with the fallacy surrounding it, with details of the fallacy and how you've used it, without even pausing for breath? It's because I've been doing this for 7 years with the same old crap arguments that you're presenting, my friend. We haven't got yet into the perspective hijacking of your other claim, have we?
Nathan, can you open the document I've sent you DM?
Sorry, was it one with antipodal star positioning?
It was the one where...
Is that a yes, you stuttering, stammering fool? Was it a yes, the one with antipodal star positioning assumed in the example?
I'm not sure what you mean by...
I mean, when you assume that when you travel south, you'll be hanging off the bottom of the sphere that you assume because you've moved south. Not because you've proved the sphere, because you've decided that when you arrive south, you are hanging off the bottom of a sphere in the what now? Sorry, do we need to go to this text document because somehow having it on screen will somehow mean that the antipodal assumption isn't intact in your begging the question affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy? Will the document resolve that problem because you haven't refuted it?
Okay, so can you go to...
So can you possibly address what I've just said about the antipodal assumption? Can you address that rather than telling me to do something?
Okay. So, can you know...
Well, you seem to be asking me if I can do something again. No, address the antipodal assumption in the document you want to go to. Address that assumption, please.
Okay. I'm not sure what you mean.
You mean you don't know how to address the fact that you've begged the question and assumed that you've got a hemi what now? A hemi what now? Oh, the thing you're trying to prove, assumed intact in the example itself.
Hemisphere.
Yeah, that would be your assumption. You're begging the question fallacy. That's right. That's how your argument failed. Because you weren't proving that hemisphere, you were assuming it.
I'm saying that when you are on south, I'm not saying when you are on southern hemisphere.
Oh, I see. So when we're in the south, we're looking at stars. How does this prove a sphere then?
That proves the sphere because that's only possible on a sphere.
Only possible when you beg the question of a sphere. So I move south, I'm still looking up, the ground's still beneath my feet. But if I assume that my former position is antipode from where I was, then it proves a sphere. So by way of an antecedent consequent relationship, or by way of an if P then Q, Q therefore P relationship. That would be an affirming the consequent fallacy. Yeah, your dumbfounded silence is because you don't understand your own failure, in spite of it being explained to you on several occasions.
Let me ask you...
No, don't ask me anything. Just offer up your next globe proof, see? Preferably the one with perspective hijacking.
If we now assume that...
No, let's not assume anything.
How...
Let's not assume anything.
I'm bugging that
Why?
you were asked for proof of Earth curve and you keep pointing at things in the sky. Is the Earth curve in the sky?
We asked ages ago for proof of Earth curve. Where's your proof of Earth curve?
Yeah, that's your time to shine. Like 10th Man said, shine on. Earth curve. Proof, please.
Okay. Why are you trying to change the
Why are we
subject?
asking you for proof of Earth curve, which is what you're here to prove? Why
I'm proving here the spherical shape of the Earth, and
No, you're not. You got
proving
destroyed.
anything.
I showed you that
You're
it's
not
only
proving
possible.
anything.
But you were pointing at things in the sky. Where's the Earth curve? Is that in the sky?
Quick shout out to Godzilla37 who says, they're so confident in chat, yet that 3 Bitcoin remains unclaimed. It's almost like not one baller can prove their faith is real. Oh, and hi, Andres Ace. Thank you very much for the super chat, Godzilla37.
When he first came on, Brian, when he first came on, he asked how many people were here. He was real keen on that. He wanted to make sure the house was full. Now he's been getting destroyed since 8:30 in the morning, and he's coming back with the same thing. It's frustrating.
Yeah, but that argument was taken apart in 2016, tore apart, and this is even before all the fallacy and all the information we have now. That's 6 years ago. It turned up in 2015.
Guys,
it was taken apart.
do you know why I
Excuse
came
me,
here?
I'm speaking.
Yeah. What's happening, Brian, is the moment you point out how crap and useless and failed his argument is, he starts talking through you. Because it's less painful if he doesn't have to hear you say it. Right? Do you want to talk through him?
Yeah.
Pointing out how crap your argument is, yeah? Need to talk through that so it's less painful. Go ahead, Brian. No, that means shut up.
Yeah,
that means shut up.
Yeah.
That means shut up. It means tolerate Brian telling you how crap your argument is, how long ago it was debunked.
Thank you, Nathan. Yeah, it was debunked 6 years ago. It turned up 7 years ago, and it was destroyed 6 years ago because it was proven that when you take magnetic declination into account, and it's only a globe Earth maths problem based on globe Earth maths, right? That's all it is. But when you take real world magnetic declination into account, it completely destroys the claim. because Sydney and Johannesburg are over 2,000 miles further apart. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's talking about the Southern Cross when he should be talking. He should be talking about Sigma Octantis and not the Southern Cross. He doesn't even know the claim he's making. I know his claim better than him. You are an absolute imbecile, my man. You don't know what you're talking about, and you're lying when you say that you did. He's lying at him, and he's
I know. I think both me and you picked up on what his claim was. He appears to be confirming his model within a computer model of his model.
Exactly.
Okay, he's not done it in reality. He's took it to Stellarium. Now, the people may have been physically located in the cities that you set up the Stellarium, but that's not really even using reality to uphold your fallacy, is it? You're using the model to confirm the model. So,
Adam,
that checks out.
Adam, what you're saying is his globe only exists in the app.
Nearly stole my line.
I had to.
Yeah, he lives in a sphere without
You knew it was coming, right?
Okay, let's do a few more housekeeping questions if we're not going to get an
We
answer
didn't have to take into account the magnetic declination.
Yeah, but you did have to assume antipodal positioning, you stupid little boy. You assumed antipodal positioning. Now shut up. We debunked this bloody ages ago. Don't detail the crap argument again.
Okay. No, he just admitted why. He just admitted, Nathan, why he has this argument. Because he didn't take magnetic declination into account. That was the point back in 2016. And that's why they all shut up about it in 2016. If he had taken that into account, it destroys his claim.
Magnetic declination.
So you didn't take it into account. You did not take it into account. Because we know from 6 years ago that it destroys the claim. Because people more educated than you came at us with this claim. People who weren't saying the Southern Cross. Shut the fuck up and speaking. People who weren't saying the Southern Cross, they were saying Sigma Octantis, not the Southern Cross. They actually knew their claim. And then they shut up about it when magnetic declination came into account. You did not take it into account. You just admitted that you didn't take it into account. So you admit the reason that you are even here with the claim is because you made a point of not verifying whether the claim was true or false.
You clearly don't understand the point.
That's an ad hominem attack. Ad hominem fallacy. He doesn't understand.
He literally just detailed it to you, but he doesn't understand. Continue.
So, all I'm asking, how is this possible on flat Earth?
Yeah, you keep using this bloody fallacy of burden of proof reversal. Inspire me telling you on multiple occasions not to demand that your failed proof has to be justified by us. It doesn't.
Win this challenge.
Sorry, why are you talking through me? You've just used that fallacy again. Burden of proof reversal fallacy. You stupid boy.
Okay, so...
Not okay! Stop telling me that I've got to explain your failed proof.
Because you can't explain how the...
So, now it's down to the argument from silence fallacy again. Rinse and repeat, gets shot in the face, respawns, and it's, oh, well, no one can explain it then. Because we haven't accepted your burden of proof reversal fallacy does not automatically mean this can't be explained. That's an argument from silence fallacy.
Okay, so...
Not okay! You've used it 3 times! It's getting irritating.
So you're saying this can't...
No, I'm not saying that.
Flat Earth.
Don't say what I've said. Put it in quotes. What was the actual words I used? Put it in quote. Say Nathan Oakley quote, then say the words I actually said, then put end quote at the end. Go.
Okay, you said something like...
Not something like. Put quotes round it, make it specific and accurate.
I don't remember...
Oh, don't you? Then don't quote me. Don't tell me what I'm saying then. Don't say you say that when you don't know. Like you don't know what experiment is, you don't know what hypothesis is, and you don't know what begging the question is. Don't tell me what I say. If you're going to tell me what I say, you'll damn well quote me correctly, verbatim, with quote marks around me. Clear?
Can you come up with...
I vaguely remember that you said something about liking children. I can't quite remember.
What?
I can't quite remember. You said something about liking children. I can't quite remember. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I can do it too. But it gets extremely frustrating for the person who's on the other end of it when you haven't put a quote round it and said the words I actually said verbatim, when you make up a little story about what you think I've said. Don't do that again.
Okay, so...
Not okay. Absolute outrage. Do not claim I've said something unless you're going to put quote marks around it. Not okay.
All right.
Not all right. An absolute outrage. I won't make up crap that you haven't said. Yeah?
So, if you can't explain how...
Another argument from silence. Starts immediately with an argument from silence. If you can't explain... So what? The burden of proof reversal fallacy failure is going to be backed up by another argument from silence fallacy for the 4th time.
Okay, can anyone in here explain how we saw the crux at the exact
Did anybody claim it? Sorry, did anybody claim it? Sorry, did anybody claim it? Oh, you did, didn't you?
We observed.
Oh, sorry, you claimed it. It failed, and now anybody else just throwing it out there, just vaguely clutching at straws with this burden of proof reversal fallacy for the 5th time.
You're just yelling because you can't answer my question.
Don't demand I answer anything. How dare you? No, you won't be making demands here, you pathetic little twat.
So you admit that...
You will not be making demands here. What you have done is laid down a few claims. And then they proceeded to be ripped apart by flat earthers. That's what's happened. You won't be demanding anything. You can offer up another claim if you like. As for what I'll be doing, I'll worry about that. You, on the other hand, can offer up another little globe proofsy from 2015 if you want.
Okay, can anyone here...
Don't throw out the burden of proof reversal fallacy for the 6th time!
Okay,
Clown,
can I talk now?
Any evidence
is there any way you could actually prove the question that was asked to you, which is there any proof of Earth curve, aka your geometric horizon? Can you do that, or we're just going to keep looking at the sky?
It's got to be the longest we're stuck at this question, by the way.
Yes,
I mean, you could just say you can't prove Earth curve. You could just say that. Because obviously you can't. We've been here. I've been here for 40 minutes now. You haven't said anything about the actual Earth curve, which is what you're here to prove, right?
This is off topic, but yes, we can observe.
Off topic? It's a flat Earth debate. Off topic? Are you having a laugh? We're asking him for Earth curve, and he's telling me it's off topic.
The original topic was that crux observation from South Africa.
Yeah, then we pointed out your antipodal assumption. Now we're moving on. Yeah, we know. We definitely know. You don't need to repeat it again. We know.
And you didn't.
And we covered it.
How that worked.
Yeah, we covered it, and now you're back to, oh my God, 7th attempt at a burden of proof reversal fallacy. Oh my God.
Why don't you be quiet and just try to answer some of the housekeeping questions? The first one is horizon, Earth curve. Any evidence?
Can I ask him a quick question about his claim? Are you claiming that somebody in Australia or South Africa or South America can see the same stars, the same southern, as you're claiming Southern Cross, every night at the same time?
Yes.
That's incorrect. The original claim was only about a specific time of the year, and it was a mathematical claim that didn't take magnetic declination into account. You don't even know your own claim. I know your claim better than you. I could argue your claim here better than you. You don't have any clue about what you're claiming. You haven't taken the necessary steps to include everything within it for reality, number 2. And number 3, you used stellarium. You didn't even use the sky. I know that you were never in Australia. I know you were never there. I used to live there. I know from where you're talking, you were never there.
I have been in Australia.
I doubt it. You're a lawyer. You don't even know you're in here telling us about a claim. I'm a flat earther, and I can make your claim and your argument to other flat earthers better than you by 100 times. You don't know what you're talking about. It's not even supposed to be the Southern Cross. You're not even supposed to be claiming the Southern Cross. You don't know your own claim. It's pathetic.
So, do you believe that we observed the Southern Cross at the exact same time.
No, I know you
Who
didn't.
cares?
I know that you didn't.
Who cares? Who cares?
What? Did you say you know I didn't?
Sorry, it makes no difference, because regardless of what you've observed, unless you assume antipodal positioning, it's about the 6th, 7th, 8th time I've covered this with you, it doesn't prove anything. It doesn't prove anything unless you assume that one position is antipode from the other.
Okay, so do you want to save the flat Earth theory and
Not a theory.
explain me?
What defines theory? Define it. My God, he's there again, using his scientific vernacular that he doesn't know. Theory?
Okay, can you...
flat Earth theory? Which one was that? Do you want to put some quotes around the flat Earth theory that I talked about? Which one was that I claimed? Is this another stereotyping fallacy with a misapprehension about what theory is? It seems so.
So you all believe the Earth...
Stereotyping fallacy. We all believe, do we? I knew a globe believer that murdered people. Yeah, he talked about Earth being a sphere in one of his documentary interviews on the telly. And he believed in a globe. Therefore, you are all murderers. Right? That perfectly reasonable stereotyping fallacy that we all believe, right?
Isn't that right?
Sorry, isn't it right that we all believe what you're about to stereotype us with? No, definitely not. It's a fallacy.
Oh, my.
Oh, my God, I can't believe I can't pigeonhole them with this claim I need to burn. I can't believe how terrible... Can't you just claim this thing that I need to burn so I can burn it? Oh, my God.
Why is this so hard for you?
Why is it so hard? You're like a little teenager.
So, why... So, you know...
Are you going to stop stuttering and answer where we get Earth curve from? Proof of Earth curve. You've been asked about 20 minutes ago.
So that it makes sense. I will win this Bitcoin challenge. If you can't explain our observation on flat Earth...
Sorry, you think the Bitcoin... Sorry, you misunderstand the Bitcoin challenge. It's to prove a sphere, not debunk a flat Earth. So you fundamentally don't even understand the challenge.
If I debunk...
You don't debunk flat Earth to win Bitcoin. You prove a sphere. You don't even understand the stupid challenge.
Yes, I do. One globe proof.
Yeah! So you think debunking a flat Earth is a globe proof?
No.
No, you stupid retard! Fundamentally, you don't even understand the challenge.
Listen, this is a globe...
You stupid boy. You literally don't even understand what you're here to win the challenge with.
I guess you're right, John.
What a retard.
He's avoided Earth curve. The only
Yes.
thing you claimed was an elevation angle. Could it happen on a curved baseline? And he avoided that.
That's correct. He avoided that. Nathan hit him with that, and he did not even want to answer it. He went back to his stupid experiment that it's not an experiment. That was funny. You should listen to that.
The whole thing is that he thinks that explanations. He thinks that explanations are proof. Explanations are just stories, bud. Unless you have any evidence of it, you're telling me a lullaby.
I have evidence of my claims that...
Of looking at the sky?
Then.
All right.
Okay, have you
looking
seen...
at the sky, bro.
Well, how did you prove antipodal? Okay, he's just said he's got proof of his claims. One of his claims.
Okay, so...
One of his claims was antipodal positioning. How'd you prove that?
Prove what? Can you...
Your claim of
repeat?
antipodal positioning, hemi what now? The begging the question fallacy of a sphere assumed in the first instance. How do you prove antipodal positioning?
I don't know what that means, so... Antipodal positioning.
That means you live on a sphere.
Yes, you live on a ball,
you're an amateur. You really think you're getting Bitcoin?
Yeah, if you can't explain my observation by the flat Earth.
You want a story. You want a story.
Yeah, he needs a new story. Hey man, my story of a globe failed completely and is backed up by fallacy. Now you've got to give me a new story so I can pull that apart. No, we're not offering that here. It's also not part of the Bitcoin challenge. I've just explained that, and it, with an exasperated tone, explained in no uncertain terms that you don't even understand what the challenge is. Then you parroted out one globe proof. Yeah, that's the challenge. So debunking a flat Earth in your mind with a straw man that you burnt, that's not going to win you Bitcoin. Do you understand that now?
If this observation can't be explained...
So maybe if you tell me again that if this observation can't be explained on a flat Earth by way of argument from silence fallacy, if we don't take up your burden of proof reversal fallacy, that will somehow win you Bitcoin. No, it won't. You're an idiot.
You sound very stupid.
He is stupid.
Is that observation of Earth curve?
Yeah, Earth curve, please.
Could I explain something to him?
Okay, so
hold on, my friend.
If I tell
hold on.
Okay.
I could give you a story about Narnia. Does that make Narnia real?
You don't even know what Narnia is.
That's exactly our point. You want a story. You want an explanation. I could explain Narnia. It doesn't make Narnia real.
But you...
Can you prove Earth curve without looking up in the sky? Even though that's not proof either. Earth curve.
If I tell you the boats disappear bottom first when zoomed in, you'll just say that there's some kind of horizon ramp, and that blocks the sides to the bottom parts of the boat. And so, no, I can't prove you the curvature of the Earth.
Why not? It's in your presentation. What are you talking about? Why is it in your presentation then?
That's the other presentation. You still haven't taken a look at my...
No, man, I'll just take the win. No worries. You can't prove Earth curve.
Yes, I can, because...
Okay, go on then.
You'll claim it.
Okay,
you'll
go on.
Claim it to be... You will.
Don't tell me what I will do. Stop. Why is it that this asshole has decided that he's going to divine my thoughts and tell me what I'm going to do?
How do you...
You're going to be going after some kids after this, right?
How do you...
You're going to be out after some kids after this, aren't you? I mean, I'm just divining your thoughts. I'm just deciding what you're going to do. Right? Yeah, don't do that again. Don't tell me what I'm going to do. Just tell me your proof of Earth curve.
So much.
Just tell me your proof of Earth curve.
The most obvious proof of Earth curve is, of course, the ships disappearing bottom first. Okay, and you will claim probably.
Don't tell me what I will claim.
I said probably.
Don't tell me what I'll probably claim. Just tell me how bottom-up obstruction proves that we've got a Earth curve horizon. My God. Don't tell me what I'm going to... Hello? Do not tell me what I'm going to assume. Don't tell me what I'm going to say. Tell me what you are claiming proves Earth curve. So far, we've got bottom-up obstruction at the horizon of boats. Correct?
Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
And how does that prove Earth curve?
They are, going over the curve, and that is blocking the sides, the bottom
really?
Of
you think boats are falling over an edge, right? You've got boats falling over this edge, right? Is that correct?
No, they are not falling over anything.
You just said they're going over an edge. That's what you said. They're going over an edge. Don't you like my terminology? Does it embarrass you when you've just described a boat falling over a physical geometric sphere edge horizon we debunked in 2020?
Yeah, that's what it is. He's embarrassed.
Can I ask a question? Just quick. Bro,
go on,
is this really happening?
This is really happening.
Yes, this is happening.
We debunked the horizon as Earth curve. So if the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to horizon measurement, that would be the point you think blocks boats and buildings, the horizon, could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And we have imagery that shows it beyond the limitations of a geometric sphere edge, blocking things. So the image is dubbed the Black Swan, where the horizon at the limitations of the geometry you've just claimed would be before 2 oil rigs at 1.2 miles, whereas it's beyond 2 oil rigs at 10 miles. Ergo, it's not a physical limitation to block the oil rigs, it's behind them.
On normal weather conditions, those...
Sorry, weather conditions, we're talking about geometric sphere edges, not weather. Geometric sphere edge horizon. Earth curve. It's a physical thing. Hello? Geometry. Your Earth curve's a geometric limitation, not an optical weather-based limitation. Boats aren't going over weather. You said they were going over Earth curve. We've debunked that.
Yes.
Yeah, we've debunked that. Because if the Earth was a sphere radius 3959, then the distance to horizon measurement could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, and we've showed that it's in excess of that by a massive, massive factor. Earth curve wasn't blocking these boats and buildings. It was behind them, proving it's not a physical Earth curve limitation.
Okay, so...
not okay. Not okay. Just the end of your claim. You said it blocks boats and buildings. We can show it doesn't. It moves.
Okay, can you explain me?
No. You've claimed you've got an Earth curve edge horizon. I'm not going to be explaining what the horizon is. You claim boats go over an edge. You've got your boats falling over an edge, a physical edge for them to fall over and be blocked by. Meanwhile, we can show the horizon beyond its geometric limitations. So no, boats aren't falling over any Earth curve edge. That was your claim. We've destroyed it. I'm not going to be explaining jack by way of your 9th attempt at a burden of proof reversal fallacy. So don't ask me what the horizon is. I haven't made a claim about it. You claim boats fell over it. What a stupid idiot. Here's the black swan image for the audience. The horizon in the Earth curve geometry that would physically block them would be somewhere around here. That would be the geometric tangent point horizon marked with an X, labelled horizon, in the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking, Earth curve mathematics. And what do you know? Instead of being at 1.2 miles actually before the frame of this photo, it's beyond 10. Definitely not blocking them. And physical limitations to you don't move with the weather. We've debunked Earth curve. So no, the horizon hasn't got boats and buildings going over it, falling over edges. What kind of nonsense is that? Thicko, thinking boats fall over edges? Horizon's not an edge. We've only got one horizon, and the horizon in your begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking, Earth curve geometry, was a physical limitation to boats and buildings, until we debunked it with the black swan. It's on screen now for the audience.
Okay, so how...
No, okay, the end of your claim.
I have another claim.
Can I ask him a question?
3-0, 3-1, 3-2. Presented lots of things that you've not refuted in terms of your claims that have failed and our claims that you haven't refuted. Do you want to just keep throwing out claims? It's just a scattergun approach at claims. Did you want to have another crack at one of the things we put to you? Maybe you could Google it.
Okay, someone had a question.
Yeah. How'd you get an elevation angle from a curved baseline? That would be a sphere Earth.
What can you repeat?
How do you get an elevation angle? That's something that you measure with a sextant, an angle. Like if you were measuring the height of a mountain, like Al-Biruni did. When you measure that height, you're measuring two straight lines, a flat baseline and the height of the mountain. So Al-Biruni, the guy who derived the R value, something you didn't know, because you haven't got the slightest idea about your own bloody religion of heliocentrism, Al-Biruni gave you an R value. But of course, before he gave you that value, he had to first assume Earth was flat to measure the height of the mountain with two straight lines. That's an elevation angle measurement. Al-Biruni, you aware of Al-Biruni? Clearly not. You didn't even know what R was when you wrote it down and assumed it without any proof or any measurements being given to you. But there we go. Al-Biruni had to assume Earth was flat. He took an elevation angle measurement of the height of the mountain. That proves Earth's flat, because it's the first thing you've got to do if you're measuring an angle to anything ever on Earth's surface. Euclidean three-space flat plane geometry, not pseudo four-space globe geometry. So flat Earth geometry is being used when you measure an angle to the sun, to a star, to the mountaintop, anything really. How do you do it with a curve?
I have a question. So
just ignore the question I've just asked you. How do you do that with a curved surface?
I don't know.
Well, you can't. Gotta have a flat Earth. Earth must be flat to do that. You haven't got a clue. I've refuted every single one of your claims here, and you don't know. When I prove Earth's flat, you don't know how to refute it.
You didn't answer my...
I didn't stutter like a bitch when I was presented with a flat Earth proof either. You did. You didn't refute it. You don't know. I've proved Earth's flat. Elevation angles, celestial navigation, Euclidean geometry are flat Earth proofs. You haven't refuted that.
Okay, so...
Okay, so your 3 fails are okay, are they? You haven't proved the globe. I've refuted everything you put down so far. You haven't refuted my proof of a flat Earth, though.
So you said the Earth must be flat.
That's correct.
To use sextant or whatever.
To measure an elevation angle, not whatever. Try and pin your ears back and actually pay attention to the man proving flat Earth with your failed attempts to prove a sphere intact. Yeah, elevation angle measurement.
The Earth must be a globe to see the crux at the exact same time.
We've covered this. Must be a globe is a begging the question fallacy. Rinse and repeat, dickhead. So, shot in the face and new game over, and now just reboot. We covered this. The antipodal positioning is your assumption. You just made that assumption clear by saying Earth must be a sphere. I must assume Earth's a sphere to make my example. That's begging the question, you stupid idiot.
You just did the same thing with sextant.
Oh, really? So you can measure an angle with a bent line. That's a curved surface.
You know, it's so slightly curved that it doesn't matter.
Do you think that a so slightly curved line gives you an angle, do you?
Yes.
Sorry, was that a yes? You think a slightly curved line meeting a straight line is an angle?
It's like...
You stuttering idiot. No, it is not. An angle is 2 straight lines.
Okay.
Okay. So, given that an angle, that's something you measure with a sextant, is measuring straight lines, one of which is the baseline. That's straight and flat. Now, if it was curved, how would you get an angle? Tell me it's slightly curved again, you dumb idiot.
Yeah.
Tell me it's slightly curved to get an angle. Go on. That's my flat Earth proof that you're not refuting, by the way.
I don't know.
Yeah, we know you don't know. You don't know how to overcome my flat Earth proof, but you know how to fail miserably and throw out fallacies and interrupt a lot, don't you?
Overcome with my globe.
Can I say something?
You have nothing to say about...
Nothing to say other than you've begged the question, used an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy, used a burden of proof reversal fallacy, used a false dichotomy fallacy, used an argument from silence fallacy. What other fallacies have you used? Lots.
So,
I've detailed every fallacy you've used, and yet all you can do is chant that I haven't refuted you. Yeah, I have.
Do you even...
You stuttering bitch! I've refuted every word you've said.
Right.
I've refuted every word. Your hand waved to every single refutation of your claims, and total lack of understanding of fallacy, and chanting the same thing multiple times because you've ignored every single refutation doesn't mean I've ignored your claims or that I failed to overcome them. I've overcome every single one of them. Then put out a flat Earth claim, and you don't know what to do with it. You have failed to overcome my claims, not the other way round.
Well, you see,
Nathan, you haven't...
Hang on. You see, Nathan, he needs an app with those stars, but when you use a sextant with those stars, he's in trouble.
So shout out to Joy. 1 second, sorry. Is it Joy Mel 24? Says this man doesn't belong here. This is the post-grad level, not the elementary level debate. Yeah, I totally agree. You know, people who don't know what they don't know suffer Dunning-Kruger and can't comprehend the debunking of their claim. And because they can't comprehend the debunking of their claim, they'll chant it out over and over and over, ignore the refutation because they don't understand it, and then have the gall, like this guy has, to say, "You haven't refuted anything I've said." Yeah, I absolutely damn well have on multiple occasions with you chanting through every word I've said. Shout out to Fibre Oats. One sec. Shout out to Fibre Oats. He says, "Should have checked your surroundings, fella. You're in the shark tank, and now you're bleeding." Yeah, I completely agree. Thanks for the super chat, Fibre Oats.
Nathan, what I think is going on here is they're sending in guys like this. to try and take up as much of the live show, which is the most amount of viewers live, right? Because it's the only hour of the day that it's live, right? That you're going to have to try and go back in time to 2015 and 16, and they're sending people who, like him, who obviously don't know what they're talking about. And the whole point is to waste our time and stop progress. We're at a point where they can't get past.
Yep.
And the only thing they have now is to send us back in time and waste a whole hour. Your whole show, your whole live show was wasted. I'm not saying it's wasted, but it's like the progress has not been made because we're dealing with this guy who just doesn't know what you're talking about. He doesn't even know his own claim. He didn't even know certain details of his own claim.
Yeah, Brian, see, that's the whole thing. As soon as that was explained, as soon as I heard Nathan explain the formological fallacy and burden of proof and straw man and false dichotomy, I understood it. So why is this guy not understanding it? Makes me wonder.
Okay, so I came here to listen for the explanation for how it's possible to see the crux at the exact same time from South Africa.
Adam was speaking.
Wait, don't
Adam was
interrupt.
speaking. Sorry. Adam was speaking.
I have to make my
Adam
point
was
clear.
speaking,
So,
not you.
So
Adam
I didn't
was
get
speaking. You will not get to make a point.
Hold on,
meaning that I won this challenge. You wasn't able.
Hello.
You wasn't able.
Hold on, guys. Can you let him have his delusional little moment?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So none of you was able to explain our observation that of the crux being visible at
argument from silence fallacy. Argument from silence fallacy. We covered this. It's an argument from silence fallacy. You've just ignored the fallacy that you're now throwing out there. So, because I won't take his bait of a burden of proof reversal fallacy, I'm saying I don't have to explain it. You failed in your claim. He's now saying, therefore, nobody can explain it. Yeah, that's an argument from silence fallacy. It's already been detailed to you several times. Yeah, this is elementary level debate, my friend. You don't understand debate. You're too stupid. This is not the right level for you. I explain a burden of proof reversal fallacy, not because I think it's necessary to explain it. It's because I know you don't understand what that fallacy is. So I'm having to detail every time. Normally, with somebody who's competent in debate, I'd just say that's a burden of proof reversal fallacy, and everyone around me, like Neil's just explained, understands that because they know what the fallacy is. Because you don't, I'm having to detail what the fallacy is and how you've used it, only for you to say, you've not refuted anything I've said, because you've not explained it on your model when I challenged you with a burden of proof reversal. And when you didn't, because it's a fallacy in itself to make you explain my claim, I'll say no one can explain it with an argument from silence fallacy again. Just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Elementary level debate tactics, my friend. Crap. Useless. Yet you're going to now tell us that you think you've won Bitcoin and interrupt me. No, you haven't won anything. You've got arguments that are so old it's untrue. It's pathetic.
Was he trying to suggest the geometric horizon again?
What?
Said boats were going over an edge, Arwin. Said boats were going over the edge of a sphere. It's really embarrassing. This stupid notion that boats go over an edge. When the horizon moves with the weather, it's not a physical limitation for boats to go over. But yet these idiots on the globe side have got boats falling over their edge. The horizon is an edge. What kind of idiot thinks that the horizon's an edge for boats to fall over? You do, don't you, clown? Well, we've debunked that crap. Black swan. Earth is not a sphere. The radius value is not measurable at the horizon. It's not a physical block for things in the distance. We can demonstrate all of the above. You, on the other hand, just beg the question and reverse the burden. Absolute outrage.
Nathan,
that's my name.
When I claim,
Can I ask you something? Do you think does the horizon move, or is it always in the same place?
It depends on the altitude of the observers.
What 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, for example?
Right.
What? Okay, so...
okay, so I know your maths of a globe and its sphere edge horizon better than you do. So that would be at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, then? Yes, Nathan. Yes, you know your sphere maths better than I do. Yeah, I know, because we're more competent in debate than you. We know your argument better than you do, don't we? Did you hear me throwing out 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet by any chance only moments ago? Maybe you didn't listen. Black Swan. If the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to horizon measurement, that would be your Earth curve obstruction you claimed boats fell over, would be at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And the imagery labelled Black Swan is beyond the geometric limitations of an Earth sphere radius 3959. Therefore, the horizon is an Earth curve, non-geometric, not blocking boats, not an edge to fall over, my friend.
Okay, so
you lost again.
I have my one last question. So my claim is...
Why? You're not here to question me. You're here to win Bitcoin by proving a sphere, not question me.
Okay.
Good. Glad you understand that you're definitely not here to question me about anything. You're here to prove a globe, to win Bitcoin, and you have failed miserably.
My claim is that nobody can explain how...
Any evidence of Earth curves?
He's going to talk about these stars again when he assumes antipodal positioning, isn't he?
Africa and Australia.
So antipodal positioning. Antipodal. Sorry, in the Hemi what now? Rinse and repeat. Respawn because you've been shot in the face and teabagged. Hemi what now? In the Hemi what now? Hemi begging the question fallacy on steroids now. Hemisphere, the thing you're trying to prove now. It's a begging the question fallacy with an affirming the consequent fallacy. I've gone over this. And over this, and over this with you. You are literally demented.
You cannot explain
He doesn't know what antipodal means.
Now he's going to tell me that you can't explain it, so he's going to try again for I think it's the 11th time, to reverse the burden of proof on his failed example. And when I say I don't have to explain it, it's your claim, he'll tell me no one can explain it with an argument from silence fallacy. Again, won't you? You dumb idiot.
Okay, can you prove me wrong?
Can you stutter for me?
Can you prove me wrong that...
Yes, you used a burden of proof reversal fallacy, followed by... Oh, my God. I don't know why I'm doing this. I've explained it to him, and then he just ignores it and asks me if I can refute his claim, which I've done multiples of times.
And I will lose this challenge.
You have lost this challenge.
No, I haven't. Because
oh, really? You proved the Earth's a sphere with antipodal assumptions, did you? Hemi what now? Hemi what now? Yeah, that won you Bitcoin, did it? Hemi what now? Hemi, I'm going to win Bitcoin now.
I will win the Bitcoin.
I will win. I am delusional. Hemisphere isn't me assuming a sphere. It's me winning Bitcoin.
Okay, so
let's ignore that.
Because
every time he says okay, then it's the hand wave of the century. It's the okay, let's ignore the fact I lost, because I'm going to be saying it again in 10 minutes.
Okay, are you going to ignore me?
Sphere?
Say again, John.
Hey, buddy. Going back to the question of the horizon, right? Being that the horizon moves, right? Do you think that's physical? You think the horizon's a physical place?
It depends.
Because you did say before that you did say before that it was blocking boats in the distance, right?
Yeah, that needs to be
that
physical.
Would be a physical place that you could measure to.
Yeah,
right?
that's his claim.
Is that what you think the horizon is?
Yeah, that's his claim.
Yes, if
it isn't. Black Swan, if the Earth was a sphere radius 3959, then every distance to the horizon could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, and every distance to the horizon in that measurement is beyond those limitations of the geometry of an Earth sphere radius 3959. Therefore, the horizon's not Earth curve, it's not a physical blockage.
Okay, but...
Okay, another complete total hand wave. So not Earth curve, moving with the bloody weather, not a physical obstruction for boats to fall over then. Okay.
You wasn't able...
Okay. Just okay. Just okay, you've lost. Okay, I won't be winning any Bitcoin.
Okay.
We just showed you.
No, it was okay, but.
What?
I can take his claim because I know the claim way better than him, and I know the details of it way better than him, and I have a better chance of winning the Bitcoin than him, and I wouldn't win it. If anyone, I wouldn't win it. So I don't know how he's going to win. Sorry, John.
I would like to say that when he invoked the celestial sphere with hemispheres, he's using a flat plane. So I don't know where he thinks he's going to get with that.
He'll never understand that, John. That's way beyond him.
We're still live. I don't mind if you want to try and run it by him for the audience's benefit if no one else is. He'll probably interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Right. You're invoking the celestial sphere when you talk about seeing the Southern Cross from two different locations. You have a model you're invoking, whether you know it or not, and that model is based on flat plane measurements to the celestial objects. Okay? So when you think you're actually proving a sphere, you've proven that it's a flat plane.
What? That's impossible on flat plane.
You said you don't know.
Sorry.
That would be a problem, right?
That would be a what? A declaration that he doesn't understand what's been said, followed by that's impossible on a flat plane. Explain how measuring angles using flat baselines, that's a flat Earth.
Nathan, is it
maybe interrupting the question that refutes your throwing out there that it's not possible on a flat plane. Maybe just interrupt me qualifying how you've just declared that's not possible. Yeah, so we're measuring angles off a flat baseline. Tell me how that's not possible when it's necessitated to measure an angle. Go ahead.
Is it okay if I leave now because I didn't get my answer?
Sorry, you weren't here to get answers. You were here to prove a sphere and win Bitcoin. You just keep lying about your motivation. You think you're going to tell my audience that you were here to get answers, like all the other people who failed at winning Bitcoin, I might add. Coincidentally, that is exactly what everybody's claimed. I'm just here for answers. Just got questions? No, that's a complete lie. You think you're going to win Bitcoin. That's the only reason you're here.
David told me I will get the answer here, and I didn't. I didn't get the answer.
Sorry, you were here to win Bitcoin. That's what you just keep lying. You were here to win 3 Bitcoin. The way you did that, or failed to do that, was by presenting a globe proof, which you didn't do.
Yes, that's...
So maybe stutter and stammer around the fact you're now lying about your motivation. Just here to ask questions. Yet every other loser who failed to win Bitcoin also told us after they lost and didn't present globe proof that they were just here to learn about flat Earth. No, you're just a liar. You were here to win Bitcoin. You failed miserably.
The man that spoke to you a minute ago about the celestial sphere, John, refracted curvature, that man was a globe believer up until the start of 2020, and then he changed when the Black Swan argument came out. He is the type of educated globe believer I was speaking about that would come to us with the claim you're making back in 2015 and 16. And he is the exact type of globe believer that would have shut up about it when magnetic declination came into it, because he knows that it's not possible to make that claim and leave out magnetic declination out of the claim, because magnetic declination destroys the claim.
Good
so
point.
You're coming in here with an amateur claim and someone who used to be the professional version of what you're not, right, who has switched sides since 2020, has just showed you and told you why your claim would only prove a flat Earth, because you have to use elevation angles to get to the stars.
Perfect. With that, I'll say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you. Smash the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, smash the PayPal link, joined as a member, and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on a Premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!
And he goes, "Is this really happening?"
Yeah.
No,
This guy came on early. He wanted an audience too. He wanted to know. He's like, "Nathan, how are you talking to people?" I guess because he was in Discord, he only seen a few, and we were having a conversation in G+. And he wanted to know how many people were here to get going with his proofsy.
He came in advocating he's here to win Bitcoin. He left advocating that wasn't why he came in.
They all did that.
Well,
There's been 4 of them so far. They've all done that.
Well, he also, Nathan missed the fallacy, but when he held the 2 models up in false dichotomy, he held up 2 flat Earth models as proof of the globe.
Yeah, I missed that. That's genius. Yeah, I love it. Keep them coming. Very true. Yeah, I missed that. Correct. When he was claiming it, he needs a celestial sphere and an equatorial plane to get the angle measurements to the stars in the first place. That just slipped me by. Glad you're here, John.
Can't catch everything.
Speaking of which, Adam, are you free to do that presentation that you and Tony were going to do?
Those fighting words.
I can dig it out and read it. Yeah. Give me a few minutes, but
Yeah, because it happened in your town, or at least your town was referenced, your city, and then the editorial of the next issue, there was a response, and from what I can ascertain, that guy was heliocentric guy. He didn't claim to be a flat earther, and he just blew that first article away. You're going to love this, Nathan, because you've shared the same kind of happenings, for lack of better words, with other issues here. So as Adam puts that together, there's an article, written by a guy.
Through every point that Nathan made, I talked to this dude last night. He hit me in my DMs. I don't know why he picked me out of all people.
Did you not hear me talking?
Yeah, Tent was just talking,
Yeah,
bro.
I know. He's just
They switched rooms, so there might have been some confusion. They moved rooms around.
Yeah, there was a room moved, 10th.
Sorry.
It's all right. No problem. Go on, finish. I'll wait till Adam gets back.
10th, are you on your yacht?
Yeah,
Hold on. Let's just let the guy. Can we let the guy in Discord just say, because he's obviously got a. Go ahead. Illegal.
Oh yeah, sorry if I was talking over you guys. I could not hear you. If I was, so I apologize.
Okay. Don't worry.
No, this guy that was in here today DM'd me last night at like 1 a.m. Like I was in a whole different server, and he just wanted me to go over his globe proof, kind of like to proofread it for him. And I talked to him, and I went over every single thing. I told him, don't ask questions, have proof, don't try and point at the sky to prove, what the Earth is. Don't beg the question. I went like everything that you went. I did it beforehand. I was genuinely trying to help him out before he came into here today.
Well, he didn't listen to you.
He did. Yeah, he ignored everything, and yeah, I don't know why, out of all people, he chose to DM me, but he did, and so
the only smart thing he's done.
Help him out.
Smartest thing he's done so far.
Agreed.
What it sounds like is that he's new to this. I mean, just listen to the arguments he came here with. So it sounds like he's new. He's trying to get his feet wet in this argument. And I don't know. Showing up here is probably not the best thing for you, buddy.
Yeah, dangerous.
No, I told him, I said, dude, you're going into Harvard, okay? You got to understand, this is flat Earth Harvard that you're walking into. And when he told me the like boats going over the curve, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I was literally laughing when I heard that. I was like, wow.
Is this really happening?
Let me look at my calendar real quick.
Yeah, time machine.
I think that may...
Right. We have to open up our history books to get into that argument.
Right, he just needed some violins before he came in. We're just going to... Back in 2015. Amazing. Go on, Brian.
I tried to save him. I'm the one that told him. I said, go into the pre-show first and talk to Nathan before you go in the show. I tried to help him to avoid all
He did that.
I know, and it didn't help.
So you set him up then. Very nice, very nice.
No, that was actually good advice.
Try to help him.
No, that's definitely good advice because you've tested. I always like to have a little bit of empathy and think about it from their position. If I was coming into this show as a Glober, that would be the exact point I would come in. Right early on, get right in at the deep end. I think that was a sensible move on his part.
Yeah, I told him to go into the pre-show and talk to you first, kind of to prep you for a preschooler to be walking into Harvard, so to like lower your just to prepare you to deal with him, that you're going to have to regress back to 2015 with this guy coming in. So it was more like to prep you. It was more as a favor to you than it was a favor to him, because I knew how it was going to go.
Well, no, I'd already said the same exact thing to David Weiss. I do know you're waiting in the wings, Brian. I'm really sorry, but I'd already said that to him. So when he sent me his docs, if I'll just get past all the racist Jew bashing that I sent Dave. One sec. I said, okay. Yeah, he says he's coming in tomorrow. Not sure. Blah 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 blah. I'll put it under. He then guesses how long he'll last, right? And I say, no, okay, no worries. I'll look at his documents. No, I've looked at his documents. It's all 2015 stuff. That was my immediate response as soon as Dave sent me his documents. I'm like, these are all old arguments. But okay, yeah, no worries. I'll deal with him.
So, Nathan, is that the same guy? Because you said some guy was going to come in not for Bitcoin. That's who I thought it was.
Yeah, I didn't know. I don't ask. So it's because it's not my Bitcoin. It's a bit nosy of me. You know, I run a debate platform, and Dave has obviously seen that as a useful outlet to send people to vet their claims. Well, great, but it's not really my concern about the Bitcoin challenge, if I'm honest. It's not my money, it's not my challenge, so I don't even ask Dave, is this person... I did in the first couple of times. I was like, are these coming for Bitcoin? In this case, I'm just like, fine, yeah, great. It's just someone else to debate, isn't it? What goes on between him and Dave is their issue. Likewise, when he was like, Dave said you'd do this. I don't care. You know? Well, I'm not going to talk for Dave. And hopefully, you know, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Maybe it was taken out of context.
He's just the boss. We don't care.
Yeah, I got a question.
Hold on.
I got a question.
Hold on, Brian's been waiting for ages, 10th. Sorry, 10th. Go on, Brian.
I'll make it quick. When he said, like the old say at the end, I'm just here to learn, I think that initially they come in looking for Bitcoin. And it's like an admittance that they don't want to give. It's like a subconscious thing that happens to them when they say, I'm just here to learn. No, they are being dishonest in one way, consciously, but subconsciously, they're actually stating the fact. They're actually being honest. It's like
you know who said that exact line, Brian? That exact line to us. I'm just here to learn. First time.
Yeah, but he also said he won. He also said he's going to leave winning.
Okay, 10th is still waiting anxiously and politely. Go ahead, 10th.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Adam to read that, but the guy who was in Discord that this guy DM'd last night, is he still there?
Yeah.
Illegal.
Yeah, I'm here. What's up, 10th?
Yeah, question. When he contacted you to go over it as a proofread, did he mention he was going to go on the show on the challenge of the Bitcoin?
Yes, he did.
And then he denied it at the end of the show?
I think Brian's assessment's right. I think it turns from what's the lesser of two evils? Just saying, no, I'm just a humble student, versus, yeah, I didn't win my Bitcoin, which is the lesser of two evils. So, yeah, it seems like an obvious route.
Yeah, he's lack of information. Tell anyone he doesn't. Anyone who's within the debate for a while, anyone who's in the debate for a while would see that from what he was saying that he didn't. Arwen, you're off mute there. Anyone who's in the debate for a while would see Arwen doesn't know it. Arwen, you're off mute.
He's all whistling and chewing.
Sorry, guys.
I muted him when he came back. Sorry, Arwen.
Yeah, anyone who's
muting me?
I muted you. I'm sorry. I didn't know you'd come back. As soon as you opened your mouth, I'd press mute. Sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
You can actually mute me?
Yeah, Discord, I can. Not Discord, in G+,
Discord?
I can, yeah. I just can't adjust your volumes. I very, very rarely mute you. It's only if you're causing audio chaos by accident that I actually mute you.
Oh, I didn't know that was even possible. Okay,
Yeah.
anyway, I'm mute.
That's the only reason I use it. If I have to shut you down, I can.
So why don't you do that instead of saying, shut up, G+?
Because what? So I should pick up my mouse and start looking and scanning across and concentrating on which line's moving up and down to mute it when I'm having in the middle of a conversation and a row? No. I'm a man. I can only concentrate on so many things.
I have a question. Did he?
Can I just finish what I was saying?
Go ahead, Brian. We'll get there.
Right, then I'll shut up then. Yeah. I reckon anyone who's been in this debate for even a while, a year even, would see that when he comes in with that, especially if you came into this debate in 2015 or 16, you wouldn't spot what's happening with him. That argument might come across to you as being some kind of a problem. But if you came into the debate 1 year ago, like there's so much information now that wasn't available back then, and all the debate tactics and all the fallacies and everything, that's all available, all the information about that. So anyone who came into this debate even a year ago would see that his argument, especially his main one, was extremely weak. It was terrible, right? But the thing about it is he kept on repeating it because he not only does he not understand why it's terrible and why it's wrong, and Nathan, you tried to explain it to him, but your explanations, in fairness, were way above what he was able to understand. But also, there was like a feeling of fear off of his voice, because it meant that maybe it's not a globe, something he never even gave a second thought to. And that's what I think, that he had to keep chanting it, because maybe it isn't a globe. He's finding out that his best claim is going nowhere. Where do you go from your best claim? If that's your best claim, where do you go next?
Nah, he's going, nah, your completely ignored, totally hand-waved refutation hasn't possibly overcome my excellent proof. I'll just repeat it. You don't understand it. You didn't listen to it. You didn't read it. Have you got it? That's all he kept saying.
Yeah, man, you just don't understand boats going over the horizon.
When I was talking to him and he told me what his claims were and what he was going to bring, I knew that he was new. And I was like, you sound like you're new to this. I wouldn't go in. I wouldn't go into there if you're. And he claimed that he wasn't new, that this wasn't new to him. And I was like, okay, I can tell you're new just based on your arguments. But he said, I'm not new to this. And I'm like, okay, bro.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to bring up.
Go on, John.
That's what I was getting ready to bring up, because as far as I could tell from the claims he put down, the best he could hope for was proving a flat Earth celestial sphere model. That would be a problem.
He was new because when Nathan asked him where R was measured, he says, I don't know.
I went over R with him last night. I told him about R and the R radius, and I quizzed him on his globe knowledge, because a lot of these people, they don't even know the model. I asked him about,
that's why.
I asked him about radius.
Now that makes sense. So you stressed the importance of the R value to him. So when it got to me saying, where's this R come from? He went, what R? Because he knew already. You see, that's why I said very sensible coming to you. You said, why would he come to me? Very sensible move. He's gone up slightly in my estimation. I've got to give him it. Yeah, that's why he obfuscated. He was training himself in the art of anti-flat Earth with you. He knew it wouldn't be a good idea to talk about R. So he just went, I don't know what you're talking about. What R? I think you're on the wrong document.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
That's what he was saying. You're on the wrong document.
Well, see, he's not really being an anti-flat earther if he's holding up a flat Earth model as his model. You know what I mean?
That is
right.
Anti-flat Earth.
Yeah, over the course of
going to avoid certain core arguments because it's like a minefield. You're an anti-flat earther.
I hope you hang around for at least the next 12 months, John, because I want that point stressed non-stop. That is the most beautiful point ever. Can you just? I know I would cut you off at the end, but can you just repeat that point again?
Well, the celestial sphere model that he was going to use for his antipodal and Southern Cross and all these this observational model that he thought proved a sphere, is a flat Earth model.
Right.
I even explained to him last night about the AE map, and that the AE map is a globe projection, but the globe was taken from flat Earth measurements, and it was a flat Earth projected onto a globe, projected back onto a flat plane. Like, I went over all of this with him last night, all of it.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. So on the one hand, you think, am I taking it too hard on this guy because he's not preempted with it? But then you come along and say, no, he's got into it. He's gone to a flat earther. He's had them vet his claims, presumably while you were saying, oh, I don't know about this. He's going, no, I'm very, very au fait with the globe claims that I'm making. I know these are excellent. So he ignored you when you were looking at him with a slight in your eye. Is that the right one? Slant in your eye. You know, looking at him a bit funny, going, really? You want to come in with this elementary stuff here? Are you sure?
Don't you remember in the beginning, he wanted to know how many people were here, Nathan?
Why do you keep stressing that?
I think he really thought he had a proof. Because he
even asked me about that last night. He's like, is it just going to be Nathan, or are there going to be more people? And I explained to him, I'm like, he has a panel, but you'll probably mostly be talking with Nathan. I told him everything that he was going to be walking into. There should have been no surprise. Everything should have not been a surprise. You didn't spring anything on him. Everything you did, everything you said, I told him about ahead of time. The panel, Nathan, begging the question, the fallacies, the model, we don't live on a model, all that. I went over all of it with him. It was...
Yeah, but there's something about that claim. Listen, my son's was the same one. That claim, they really think they have something. And I think he wanted a full audience there so he can get it off as a proof and win. I'm telling you, that's what they think with this.
They do have something, Neil.
Go ahead, John.
They do have something, Neil.
It's flat Earth.
Yeah. They have something for sure.
They got an equatorial plane.
You want to get on right now, Jacob? You want to talk? They're right here. You want to talk to Nathan?
No, don't do that to your son. I don't want to do that.
We just went over it with somebody.
No, don't do that, Neil, to your son.
Well, he comes by and he says the same thing that this guy said. Yeah,
he's related to you by blood. He's allowed. He's not goading us. He's just goading you.
We just went over it. Watch the show, Jacob.
Let's not have a side conversation with this. No, please, Neil.
I just told him to go watch the show.
Don't make your son suck Nathan's balls, Neil.
Yeah, exactly. Right. There's something about the phraseology, right? The antipodal assumption comes with the only works on a part of the claim. So you've got this antipodal assumption, which they don't realise until it's pointed out and then deny it constantly and hand wave it. This antipodal assumption only works on my antipodal assumption. But that phraseology somehow lends more credence and weight to the person who's making the claim because it sounds strong. This only works on my reified sphere Earth model.
Correct.
Yeah, my globe maths claim only works on my globe. Exactly,
That's exactly correct. My globe maths. And you even showed how they were doing it with, was it Stellarium? Here you go, look how my model works. Here's my model to show how my model works.
Yeah, he claimed Stellarium. He claimed they used Stellarium. That's what he said. Me and Adam jumped on it.
Yeah.
You know, Adam was the first to say it.
What's this Darwin
What you
rules
got there,
okay?
Adam?
Who's presenting this Darwin?
This was the huge, long-winded and exceptionally wordy document that Ten thought I should read because it's from Nottingham, so it should be done in a Nottinghamshire accent, apparently. Remember to go through it?
Yeah,
it's
by all means.
It's quite a lot of text. So,
does that mean when you read it in a Nottingham accent?
Yeah, there is no Nottingham accent. It's the Queen's English in Nottingham.
You got to do it better than the last time, though. You got to do it better than the last time, though.
Yeah, that's a bit dodgy at times, isn't it? Right, let's get through this because there is a hell of a lot of text. Okay, so Darwin Rules Okay by Andrew Hill. From the far off wastes of Nottinghamshire, my father reports to me on the graffiti war. They have none of the ambiguous nuance of the Chinese wall posters. In Mansfield, the attacks are sharp and direct. No God, only evolution, affirms one. and others' views are asserted with as much conviction. And now the personal element insinuates itself. Who's Darwin? The spray paint writes, and having writ moves on beneath, painted in bold black capitals, comes an answer. A nosy bastard. So the British Association meeting of 1860 is still being fought in the streets of our northern towns, and it is not only the streets that people are yet grumbling about poor old Darwin ferreting around. Near Christmas, the Guardian Weekly had a nasty attack of it, and that Spectator devoted a page or so telling us that no one, not even a single one of those terribly conservative scientists, still believes that silly Darwinian rubbish. I have no idea where this strange notion intermittently appears from, but when it appears, it certainly fills the correspondence columns for a while. Copernicus, I think, was such another, a nosy one, I mean, and it seems that he, like Darwin, had a great deal of posthumous trouble getting his eccentric ideas accepted. Even after the rather helpful modifications of Kepler, they were still squabbling 100 years later, as Galileo found to his cost. Nor was it just the papal court and Inquisition that presented this unseemly inquisitiveness. Solicit not thy thoughts with matters hid, leave them to God, wrote Milton. And the archetypal Protestant Luther protested at Copernicus and the new astronomy in a similar vein. Even Shakespeare affected to be none too happy with it all, and apparently preferred the comforts of Ptolemaic design. But this was all in days when science had scarcely got started, and when communications and general education were rather low. There is no such excuse for the idea of evolution.
Out freaking standing. Way to bounce back.
There's more, guys.
Oh, there's more.
What?
Well, yeah, let me quick sip. Other scientific innovations seem not to be presented with such problematic. I won't read that word.
Should have ended it there. You had the great victory.
Yeah, with such problems, especially those which impinge on life in a more practical fashion. Though having technological manifestations, is this because switching on a light is deemed sufficient proof? Millions fix themselves before a television screen, even little apprehension and the mysteries of a cathode ray. Even those who do not understand the internal combustion engine or the internal complexity of the jet happily drive cars and fly in planes. They rarely seem in these cases to question the underlying theories that such tangible gewgaws spring from, or the underlying philosophy such theories imply. They may even boast of not understanding them at all. Not so with evolution. Like economics and education, apparently we all think and have an innate and intuitive grasp of it. Naturally, these anthropocentric things are the ones we most worry about. Like the Copernican revolution, evolution is a matter that takes man away from the centre, and we can have some sympathy with an excuse for not believing such a horrid translocation. Understandable or not, I still find it rather disconcerting to have these snipers firing away even at distance of a few thousand miles, because some of the shots are in this direction. Here in East Africa, we are on another front of the same battle, as Darwin himself predicted. At present, it certainly looks as though Africa is where it all happened, where an ape-like creature grew up, clambering around the branches of trees, moved into new grassy plains and a ravine woodland, encroaching upon the forest, and got up on his back legs. Tomorrow the fresh woods and postures new. It is bad enough to be reminded of those who believe this harmless scientific anecdote is piffle. To receive these hints in a darker menace is even more disturbing. A medieval presence out of there which thinks scientific noisiness is itself to be condemned. For in Kenya, those of us involved in even peripherally in problems of the evolution of man languish happily in our cosy paradigm, content to argue viciously on the subject, but about the details of the broad picture, confident in its general truth. Through our Darwin-tinted spectacles, the evidence looks extremely good, and it has often been explained to those who would hear. On persons who have not the divine benefit of nosiness, of course, explanation is lost. That too often quoted wife of the canon of Worcester Cathedral perhaps had little need to fear. In 1860, she reputed to have said of evolution, "We will hope that it is not true." But if it is, let us pray that it may not become generally known. She might have added, but if it becomes generally known, let us pray that it may not be believed. Even when it is believed, it frequently has to be diluted with a measure of mysticism, teleology, in order to be palatable. The effects of this noxious cordial fall upon the scientist and the non-scientist alike. And under its influence, we are led gently and erratically up the Teilhard de Chardin path. People from Huxley to lesser mortals have now been presenting the evidence of the evolution of man in a popular manner for over 120 years. Yet still, it meets with strong opposition from the walls of Nottinghamshire to the hallowed pages of the garden. Opposition is really a good thing when it seems from dogma rather than noisiness. But rational thought and argument appears to be little involved with overcoming deeply held cultural beliefs. Rather, some more occult process than popular education seems not to affect. It just takes time. Of course, that's when the other side says, wow, but today, even in The Spectator, we really find serious assertions that the sun goes around the earth.
Ace? Any more?
That's
last one.
There is one last bit, which is the retort.
Let me set this up before you read it. I just pulled over. So I read that and I said, oh my gosh, this is interesting. And then, but first I read the retort and then I went hunting for the article, which was 1 month before, which is the one he just read. Now he's going to read you what somebody wrote in as a response to the very last statement that he said about the sun and the earth. Go on, Adam.
And what year was this? It says July the 12th. I can't remember the year. Was it 1970 something, wasn't it? Oh.
Yeah, it's on the top of one of the pages.
Oh, it's on the next one. It comes up, yeah. 79. There you go. So, yeah, in response to Andrew Hill's Darwin Rules OK of the 12th of July, he says, even in The Spectator, we rarely find serious assertions that the sun goes around the earth. One can, of course, believe anything one likes as long as the consequences of that belief are trivial. But when survival depends on belief, then it matters that belief corresponds to manifest reality. We therefore teach navigators that the stars are fixed to the celestial sphere, which is centered on a fixed earth and around which it rotates in accordance with laws clearly deducible from common sense observation. The sun and moon move across the inner surface of this sphere and hence perforce go around the earth. This means the students of navigation must learn a lot of the confused dogma they learn. This means that the students of navigation must unlearn a lot of the confused dogma they learn in school. Most of them find this remarkably easy because dogma is as may be, but the real world is as we perceive it to be. If Andrew Hill will look in the Journal of Navigation, he will find that the Earth-centered universe is alive and well, whatever his readings of The Spectator may suggest. Darcy Reddyhoff of the Royal Air Force College, Cranfield.
So then they all know. I'm sorry.
Journal of Navigation, Darcy, Air Force College, says you have to unlearn what they taught you in school because it's a belief, and when life and death matters, it needs to be reality.
That's what I'm saying. They all know then. All of these, Neil deGrasse Tyson, they all know. I'm sorry.
Could you send me all this material?
I'll stick it in the war room.
Thank you. I'd like to present this.
Well, they have apologetics for it in the so-called scientific community. All they have is apologetics for it, but they still utilize a flat plane with a celestial sphere, even though it's obviously a model, and we don't live on a model, you know.
Can you detail what you mean by the apologetics?
Well, they'll say that since everything's moving apart at the same rate, then you wouldn't be able to tell. You know, it's just they use excuses for why it seems to be geocentric. The balloon example is one of them. That the relative distance between the stars may increase, but the actual distance may increase, but the relative distance doesn't to the perception. You know, they say things like that, but it's still just a model that they're trying to reify into reality.
It seems to me that 2,000 years ago, Eratosthenes assassinated evolution before and the globe Earth before it ever turned up. That's what it seems like to me.
Well, he went out and he measured a flat plane and then said, you know what? It's got to be a sphere. It's 500 miles.
Well, we don't know if he said that. Sorry, we don't know that. All we know is that he made this measurement, which could just have been, as is detailed, one section of one part of the diameter of the Earth.
Objection. We don't even know he made the measurement. All we do know is somebody over 2,000 years later claimed that's what he did.
Correct.
Attributed it to somebody.
That's correct.
Yeah, I understand.
My favorite part is when the guy.
Point. Go on, sorry, Chocolate. I talk about.
No, I was just gonna say my favorite part is where the guy says if what's his name, Andrew, looked in the Journal of Navigation, he would find that the Earth-centered universe is alive and well. Do people actually navigate on Earth?
Yep.
Oh shit.
Is it also because the observer is the center of this celestial sphere? Is that what they mean?
No, Earth-centered is like you have to picture yourself as stationary.
Correct.
In the center. Yeah.
So the same special location that Hubble said that we need to completely stay away from.
Exactly. And the most unfavored position.
Yep.
Interesting.
Can I just say about what I said about Eratosthenes? Yes, Adam is correct. We don't know if Eratosthenes existed or we don't know if he did this thing. But we know there's a claim that he did this thing and we can duplicate what he did. So anything he's supposed to have said after that, we don't know, right? Whether he said that, we don't know if he existed or if he did this thing. But we know that we can do the thing that he claimed to have done. So regardless of what he may or may not have said after, I can duplicate what he did and prove through that duplication that I'm also showing the Earth to be flat. That I can do in reality.
Well, what I was addressing in that is the rhetoric claim of what he did, whether he existed or not, but the rhetoric claim is that he measured a flat Earth and somehow created an illusion that it was a sphere.
Level Up wants to know if we can hear Discord.
Something's going on weird because everybody's talking over each other.
We hear you now.
Seems okay.
QE was asking a bunch of questions and nobody seemed to respond to him.
We didn't get him.
No, we were definitely ignoring him, but
we were just ignoring him. Flat out. We just didn't care.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, I'm in here now. So,
what's up, guy?
What's up, man? So, that was pretty frustrating. So, what's evolution? That's the first one. There's a second one coming. Okay. No one's gonna
a claim made by people who don't believe a creator exists. Most of the time.
Okay. We have somebody in chat skanking. No one. After I destroyed him like 3 years ago, of course he comes back alive again like a zombie. Evolution. He says, "How are people still denying evolution?" He's in here right now. No one. Can you please come off mute? Come on. Come off mute.
Please.
Not to take over the show, Nathan. It just set me off.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention.
Hey, John.
I had the wrong screen on. I'm doing a thumbnail while I should be paying more attention to the show. My bad.
No one. How are people still denying evolution? That's what your statement was here. Everyone sees it in main chat at 43 minutes after the hour. Go ahead, come off mute.
Hey, John.
Good.
Can you deny something that hasn't been defined yet?
Nope. That's non sequitur.
So he's going to define it for us.
No, he ain't going to come off mute. He knows better. He's just a chat skank. You got 10 seconds before we move on. No one. No brains.
Are you looking at the text chat, QE?
Nah, I looked at the text chat to repeat what he said.
He basically put up
He says you forbade him to ever speak to him again, but I told him you're giving him permission now, but he keeps repeating it.
Classic.
What a cop-out.
Just pretend you're not speaking to him. There's plenty of us here. Talk to us. We're nice, friendly people.
Now, he's misguided. I told him never to text chat with my name in it, not speak to me.
He knows.
Yeah, I know he does.
We know he knows.
We know he knows.
We know you know he knows.
We can move on, Nathan. He's not going to come off. He's not going to come off mute. Go ahead. Sorry.
Like Adam would know.
Oh, I do.
It seems to be a repeat of earlier, where we are supposed to be debunking a claim that was never proven.
Yeah, well, you know, Brian, if you can't, that means you've lost.
Yeah, and someone should get Bitcoin.
If you can't give me an answer, then I'm going to go away the victor.
I mean, yeah, that checks out.
25 logical fallacies in all. I am still victorious.
We can get Extremistus back in here. He made a statement too that he was sort of laughing about, but he's on mute and deafened too. So these baltards are like chameleons with their mute and deafens.
That's funny. He just spoke like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah. Mr. Helper. Hold on a second, Extremistus. Hold on. If we can get him back in, I'll text chat him.
Well, that is one of the fundamental things about being a zealot is you gotta preach every chance you get, but you don't answer questions or respond.
Oh, there he is, Extremistus. There he is, right there.
I'm here.
So, Extremistus, you're here. Okay, you wrote earlier that a flat earther, whoever that was, told you that there was a difference between atmospheric pressure and gas pressure, and you had a problem with that.
No, I said I don't hear that from the flat earthers very often. Usually, it seems to me that it's equated as the same.
So, regardless, we'll put aside the paradox atmosphere. We'll just put that aside because that's a paradox. But atmospheric pressure, atmo means air, air is a gas. That is gas pressure. Can you tell the panel and the audience how gas pressure, atmospheric pressure, is different from gas pressure, please?
I wasn't making a claim on whether it's the same or not. All I was repeating was somebody else told me that I haven't heard before.
You haven't heard before, then how could you say it was repeated? That you heard it before, but you haven't heard it before.
Most flat earthers, again, I realize I'm making whatever the generalization fallacy.
Stereotype fallacy, yes.
Sorry, but most flat earthers that I hear equate gas pressure and atmospheric pressure as being the same thing. He's one of the few that I've heard that makes a distinction between the two.
Oh, he's a flat earther that makes the distinction between. What's the distinction?
Correct. He basically said that gas pressure, what did he say? Hold on. Air pressure and gas pressure, like gas pressure is a form of atmospheric pressure. But anyway, he made the distinction. My point is he made a distinction.
Yeah.
So you're saying that came from a flat Earth side, right? So
yes,
you're a glober.
Bandsaw is a flat earther on GeoServer.
Right. So you're a glober, and that means you think that that's accurate, right? That there is a difference between atmosphere.
I agreed or
there is.
Sorry,
okay,
go ahead.
So I asked the question: do you think there's a difference, or do you agree with the flat earther statement?
First of all, I didn't say whether I agree or disagree. I just said it's unusual to hear a flat earther that make the distinction. But second of all, to answer your question, I do agree that there is a distinction.
Oh, what's that distinction, would you say?
What's that?
Well, the terms to me cannot be used interchangeably, is the way that I would say the distinction is.
I mean, I'd agree.
The pressure part?
I'd agree, but why? Why aren't they interchangeable?
Because you're talking about, I don't know how, I mean, the words fail me, but as an example, for example, when I say they can't be used interchangeably, if you're listening to a weather forecast, the weather person never says the gas pressure outside is whatever number they give. They always will say the atmospheric pressure or the air pressure, but they will not say the gas pressure.
Yeah, I think I'd probably agree with the distinction because if we're going to object to the term atmospheric, yeah, which we have grounds to, then to use the term just gas pressure could be confusing because it has function in other realms. So to make a clear distinguishment term that we could use happily, I would use air pressure to be the equivalent of a atmospheric pressure. We know what it means. It's the same thing. And that then leaves gas pressure to be gas pressure, not having to mean the equivalent of atmospheric.
Right, but that just means that air pressure is a form of gas pressure. It's a specialized term within gas pressure.
Yeah, but air is also defined. You know, air being a mixture of lots of different gases.
We're just not putting a shape on it, are we? That's all we're doing.
The difference is in the claim of how the pressure is created. That's the only difference between the two. One claims it's being created by a force of gravity, creating a spherical air pressure that goes around a globe Earth.
Really?
The other is that it's being created by a solid container.
You sure about that, Brian? I'm pretty certain that's just an anti-flat Earth claim where they insert gravity. Maybe I'm wrong, but if you can show me where in the actual heliocentric rhetoric, it describes gravity in any way as a container, I'll stand corrected if I'm wrong, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that is not the case.
Well, in fairness, when I was looking into how the sun creates our gas pressure gradient, I didn't find anything really. I don't remember finding anything much referencing gravity. I think I did find one thing, but I don't remember finding a whole lot about referencing gravity because they just generally speak about pressure, and they don't really define what creates the pressure.
They say columns of the air. The air is containing the air, but they don't necessarily say that the gravity is pressing the air on top of the air.
That's
they
exactly
just say
correct.
The air, columns of the air.
It's columns.
They don't. Yeah. Well, the columns are thermal columns, and they are below cloud level. That's what that is. The columns are below.
I think we're getting away from the topic, though. Right? Because they were trying to put a distinction between them. It's very easy to deal with this, right? Atmospheric pressure is gas pressure, but not all gas pressure is atmospheric pressure. You got it?
Contextually, yeah, but you've got to put in your disclaimer. You did. You know, you're like, notwithstanding the oxymoron sphere-shaped air without containment, atmosphere is just a form of gas pressure. It just happens to not have anything to press on.
But if we're talking about a specific type, because there's lots of gas pressure, I could have a canister of gas with pressure in it, yeah, and that's got gas pressure.
But I said,
exactly. So I'm struggling at why it would be nonsensical just to say air pressure. And actually, you do hear the weatherman say the air pressure today. Yeah, they are interchangeable. One comes without the oxymoron, as you say, but of a shape that's attributed to it.
Atmosphere.
Let me just atmo. We can use, can't we? We could call it the atmo pressure if we wanted, but it's a little bit pretentious, and we all could just use air, which it means the same thing, but in Latin. You know, we don't need to stick the secondary.
That's what I say. Air pressure.
Atmosphere.
To me, it just sounds like a get out, because we say you require a container to have gas pressure, so they know they don't have a container, so they're just saying, well, it's not gas pressure we're talking about atmospheric pressure. It just sounds like a get out to me.
Yeah,
that's it.
Weak.
Atmospheric pressure in their model with gravity making gas go down, going boom boom, is technically preponderance of gas weight.
Yeah, well, when I researched for the sun creates the gas pressure gradient presentation, if you remember from that presentation, I showed official documentation where they specifically state that they use the ideal gas law PV equals nRT. So they would talk about temperature, because they're not thinking about it being a globe or flat or container. They're just dealing with their job. And so when they talk about temperature. It was temperature that was creating the pressure, and different pressures and different densities. They weren't really talking outside of that. So Nathan, you're not wrong. I don't remember reading a whole lot about gravity, but that's not to say it's not there. But they mostly just talk about temperature. As in, like, the claim we often get from our opposition side about gravity, that would be PV equals nRG, as I stated before, not PV equals nRT. And as I showed in our presentation, officially, they refer to the PV equals nRT ideal gas law when they talk about pressure.
Does everyone get the point? You guys want to go into this, the container and pressure gradients and stuff? It's very simple. I said it before. All atmospheric pressure is gas pressure. However, not all gas pressure is atmospheric pressure. That ends the little feeble train wreck argument they have, or the implication of their. Of course, they won't say anything right anymore because they know they'll get their ass handed to them. But does everyone understand that?
Yeah, definitely.
No.
All right.
Do I agree, though? No, not necessarily.
No, I don't understand, John, in terms of what the hell they're trying to prove by trying to nuance this point. What do they get out of it? I'm lost as to
special pleading for the atmosphere. That's what they get.
Yeah.
Well, it's an opportunity for a switcheroo of their entire model approach, right? Gas weight. Atmosphere really is in their model about gas
atmosphere
weight, right?
is special, Adam.
That's
not like any other gas, but it's special. It's got special circumstances that apply to it.
So, but using that phrase, I'm genuinely lost here. Explain to me what this bloody argument's about. Whether even if as a flat earther I say atmosphere, we all know what it means. It's just the air pressure.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. That's why it had to be disclaimed immediately by QE in the first part of this explanation, because you've got to have that, notwithstanding the fact that it's an oxymoron and the air's in a sphere shaped.
Yeah.
Well, that is the premise that they need to beg the question of when they use that word. Often they don't even realise they're doing it.
If I use it accidentally, when I'm describing the air pressure, doesn't mean I've conceded that suddenly it's a ball. It's just because all my life those phrases have been drilled in and those pathways are still there. The point of contention is.
Yeah, but that's what they attempt to do. That's why when they've come here and told us that, or we're not talking about gas pressure, we're talking about atmospheric pressure. They've tried that.
So is there victory then just to get me to say that word?
Yeah, because then you beg the question with them. So you accept that it's
automatically a
sphere-shaped
sphere,
air, then.
bro.
So you accept that air
No, but
is.
that's one reason.
So you accept that this atmosphere, with its definitions intact, is the air that we're breathing. As soon as you say the word, they move forward on the understanding that you accept that the air is in a sphere shape. It doesn't need to have any explanation with gravity for the containment. It's just arbitrarily sphere shaped, isn't it? It's in the word.
I understand that. Genuinely, I didn't think it was that childish a level.
No, it is. It's that basic. It is just that basic, I'm afraid. It is just their way of applying special pleading by way of you begging the question for them with a simple piece of vocabulary that you're right. Any normal person would say, yeah, when I say atmosphere, I just mean air. Because it's so ingrained into the language, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm assuming that the air's a sphere shape, even though that's what the word means. It's just so colloquially used to mean air that I accidentally say it and beg the question of sphere-shaped air when I do so. Well, that's not good enough, Adam.
Yeah, I disagree. If I may, I kind of disagree because I think that the sphere-shaped air aspect of it, which is kind of the nomer, it's what we can immediately derive from it. I think that's actually a distraction to the much more detailed model approach change that it really basically is there for. It's there to turn gas behavior into having weight like a fluid, right? That's really the invocation of atmosphere. Correct. Is to allow that system to become available, not necessarily even the shape, right? It's just saying it. It doesn't even mechanically coordinate that.
No, you're correct. Really. You're correct. That's what I meant when I said special pleading. So gas go down, go boom, boom is going to be a property that they will apply by way of the homogeneous layers of gases that they've got in, quote-unquote, atmosphere. All of the laws that apply to it falling down, go boom, boom, towards the centre of mass of a sphere Earth, again, is implied in the sphere implication when they say atmosphere. So all of those things are all suddenly intact because there's a whole law, I don't know which LAW or LOR, but there's a whole law around atmospherics specifically. And it's got, like you say, Arwen, a whole bunch of special pleading fallacies that go along with it that basically lead them to them saying we've got the air on the bottom being pushed down upon by the gas at the top, even though it works in the complete reverse manner.
That sounds so silly.
Hold on.
Owen,
Let me finish that. Hold on.
Dude.
So then it means that atmospheric things really aren't about gas pressure, like kind of what QE said, even though I would accept that if I didn't know better. But really, the invocation of atmospheric means much more than just a replacement for gas pressure.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. You used the phrase there that they're trying to imply that gas will fill a container like liquids from the bottom up. Is that was the bit I heard you say first, and that intrigued me that you're suggesting that's their mechanics.
Yes. I think it's specifically there kind of to maybe distract you with, sphere-shaped air, when it doesn't actually apply any of that to what it's used for. And what I think it's mostly used for is to replace the entire mechanics with a false application of Newtonian gravity suggesting gas go down, go boom, boom. I think that's specifically what it's there for, not to just quickly shove a globe in there.
Yeah, I can back up Arwen here with National Geographic. I'm just going to read the first part here. The air, I haven't read this, just the first few lines. The air around you has weight straight away. They're invoking a force of gravity, and it presses against everything it touches. That pressure is called atmospheric pressure or air pressure. It is the force exerted on the surface by the air above it as gravity pulls it to Earth. So
what a bunch of shit.
See, that's what I was talking about, Brian. Hold on, just want to address that. So when you were like, no, the gravity's providing the containment in atmosphere. No, it's not defined that way. It's the gas go down, go boom, boom because of weight. What's weight? Well, a downward vector. Gas defies that by its behaviour, but that's what they've got. Gas go down, go boom, boom is the rhetoric as opposed to gas forms some form of containment. No, it doesn't. Not even in their rhetoric.
This is where they don't put it together.
You mean gravity forms.
Go ahead, Adam.
There's some like dodgy mechanics papers where they do this. So and Tony made me go and do it and see where would the rebellious gas particle turn around. So you get some kind of, say, ropey papers that aren't linked to anybody that nobody cites, but it's there to be believed. And it's part of the theology of why so much helium and hydrogen manages to escape. But it's not containment, as Nathan's saying. It's about a downward pull of gravity. And some of those lucky ones manage to escape for some reason, even though they've done the math so they shouldn't. But some of them do. But it's not containment in this sense when they invoke gravity, because it's just a magic pull of...
Right. They don't need the containment anymore, because now they reclassified gases as a fluid and then kind of erase part of that action in their mind and just treat it like it's a liquid. And then they no longer have this issue of gas escaping because it's moving in all directions in their modeling.
Got wait. First words.
Yeah. Actually, they don't really claim containment, because why would they? They don't have it. So they just claim a pull towards the center of the globe. Correct. A force of gravity. Because they have no reason to claim. Why would you claim containment? It doesn't exist up there.
Right. And once they've claimed it, they then have their special pleading applied to, well, you can only demonstrate this with a mass the size of Earth. That's how they get around it.
I think it's time for John to come in with the phrase you want him to say for 12 months.
Going to need a flat plane for that.
Right, so it's Atmos plane.
Yeah, indeed. With that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, hitting the PayPal link, joining as a member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!